Appreciate everybody at Pivot Socks. That's GETPYVOT.com. That's getpivot.com. Go ahead and grab yourself a pair of socks. Every pair of socks you buy does support an episode of this podcast. Use the promo code SNEAKTHISPODCAST. Get yourself a discount and some free shipping. Go ahead and check out some of the new styles they got. Like I said, it's on the screen. It's getpivot.com. Promo code SNEAKTHISPODCAST. Yo, Sneak This Podcast, episode 313. No George in the building, but I do got the homie Josh on the phone.
Hey, what's going on?
So this is our very first time using Skype in the studio. I know a few people have asked, like, yo, can they come on? Can they get on the podcast? Can they call in? Look, the podcast studio is not set up correctly to do Skype. So I'm trying to figure that out. This is our first Skype. I kind of got the internet and stuff working better in here. So, like, look, once we get this going, then, hey, we could get a couple more guests and stuff like that call in. But this is Josh's first time on. This is one of the homies. So, you know, I'm glad to finally get you on, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited, bro. I know we've talked about it and trying to get out there, but you know how that goes sometimes. The summer was kind of crazy. So I'm happy we were able to do this.
You know, a lot of people that like, you know, oh, I'm going to come out there. And I'm like, man, do not come out here just for this podcast. Please don't. Like, I appreciate people who are willing to do that, but I'm like, please do not come out for this podcast. Like, I promise we're going to get you on. And, you know, we're about 6 years late, but we got you on, though.
Well, no, like I said, I appreciate it, man. I've obviously been a long time listener. And, you know, we've been communicating for a while, so super excited.
Oh, yeah. There's not a lot of people that, like, you know, I have phone numbers, like, you know, text, you know,
right, from
the podcast. You know, there's only certain people that, you know, I do that with, man. And, you know, I always consider you one of the solid homies. So, you know, I've always appreciated you, you know, just even how you carry yourself as a father and stuff like that, you know. And, you know, I look at things like that. That's important to me, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. And the internet's a weird place, man. I mean, obviously you can. I've met some cool people, but you know, it's like I said, we'll just leave it at that. It's a weird place sometimes. So, yeah.
I mean, hey, you know, I will let you know you've made early, Josh. You've made a lot of people mad before. Like, you used to be in some battles online.
I did. So, I mean, just kind of like you talked about with the podcast. I think, you know, life has a way of not only humbling you, but educating you. And, you know, you realize that most of this stuff ain't even worth it, especially online.
It's 100%. Like, I used to be, you know, like you said, I talked about on this podcast before, but like, I used to be talking a lot of junk and arguing back and forth. And then it was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm wasting a lot of time on this internet arguing with somebody that's in a completely different time zone.
That like, I'm never going to see, that I'm never going to have any interactions with. And if I do, at the end of the day, we grown, got jobs and kids. We're going to get into a fist fight, man.
That's
get out of here. I'm not doing that.
100%, because, like, it got to the point to when I realized how stupid I was being was, like, when I was – like, you know, responding to people on the internet or DMs or something. Like, we've been going back and forth all day. And when I realized wherever they live at, they're probably in bed. And, like, where I live at, I'm still up. So, like, I'm writing back like, ooh, wait till they see this in the morning. Like, and then, like, they respond back to me and I'm still asleep because the time, I'm like, what am I doing? This is stupid. Like,
absolutely.
I legit have no more beefs with anybody that I've even, I don't care whatsoever, man. I run into these people if I ever do. Hey, what's up, man? Like, we were stupid. Like, things happen. Like,
Yep. And I was just talking to my girl about that. I said, because she was asking, you know, different stuff, you know, stuff that has happened in the past. And I was like, man, honestly, when I get out there, I shouldn't say if, because I told you I got family and stuff out there. So when I get out there, man, I hope that we could all go grab something to drink and just, you know, grab something to eat and hang out, because all that stuff is so silly, man. It don't even make no sense.
It really don't. But Josh and I will be doing, and you know what? I feel like I've done this. I think we did this top 10 before a long, long time ago, but everything so long ago, I can't remember. And Josh is an avid dunk collector. So I said, why not do top 10 dunk highs to us? Now, I was going to say SB highs, but I left it at dunk highs just in case.
You know, I went SBs with everything anyways, and I'm sure we probably have a lot of the same stuff, but I'm pretty positive we got some different stuff on there too.
Yeah, I think I went all SBs. I tried to maybe not add all SBs, but like, I mean, yeah, if I'm not gonna do a SB high and I was just gonna do a regular sportswear dunk, it wouldn't be a high. Like the only dunk highs I'll buy are SB highs. I don't think I could buy the other ones. They're just, it don't make any sense to me.
That what is it? That beetroot or the one that's like gray and then kind of maroon that came out recently, man, I almost pulled the trigger, but the price was too high. Like the new retail is too crazy. Like I just couldn't. I liked it, but I just couldn't do it, man.
And see, that's the thing. Like I'm having, and which is a benefit. Like, you know, we talked. Like, look, like when you have to make the decision, like back in the day, we'd buy 2-3 pairs at once. Now you have to make a conscious decision and go, oh, you know what? I'll take this one or none at all. Like,
and you know what's so funny about that is back in the day, we probably shouldn't have been buying one. And now that we're in a position where we probably could afford to buy what we were buying before, we're like, nah, we keeping that.
I know. I'm just so sick of spending money. Like, it's just that, you know, and I guess that's just that natural progression where it's like you just get better with like the extracurricular things you do. But like, you know, I see you and your kids and your girl, you guys go on vacation and stuff. Like that's the things I'm into now is like, you know, things like that like make memories. Like all this stuff that's in the closet, it looks cool and it makes you feel cool. But like at the end of the day, it's just in the closet.
Yep, and it can all go. We've talked about that. I've sold my entire collection before.
Oh, yes.
I don't get attached to things. Don't get me wrong. I love what I love, and I've kept the certain things that I've kept. But yeah, it can all go. I'm with you. I'd much rather have the time with my family or my friends and hanging out.
Yeah, I did. I've sold my collection probably 2 or 3 times, and you know, built it back up, and you know, it is what it is, man. But like, you know, it's like you never not love sneakers, but it's just like. Right. You just start to like realize like how unimportant it is. Like it used to be like I had no idea. Like when stuff releases now, I just have no idea. Like I was gonna try. Like I don't really care for the Zion Voodoos, the Jordan 1 lows, but I was gonna try for them just to see them in hand, just in case, because I like Jordan 1 lows. But I forgot. Like I just was like, oh well, I forgot about that. So.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, obviously that's on the releases this week, and Jay had posted that, you know, this morning.
Right.
And I was like, he was giving me a hard time because I was like, man, I like the shoe, but it seems so kiddie to me. Like, it seems like a kid shoe. And he said, you know, when has that stopped you before? But I'm like, to me, I don't know. It really gives you a cool, I love everything. Like, you know, once you started getting close-ups of the shoe, I think the shoe is put together really well. I like the different materials, the rope laces and all that stuff, but I wouldn't wear that shoe, man. Yeah. I don't know where I would wear it.
I wouldn't either. Like and honestly, it should have came out for Halloween. If you're gonna if you can put a voodoo shoe out like that, and like you said, like I think the materials are dope, like the canvas and stuff like that. But it just reminds me of like it looks like an orphan shoe. Like it looks crazy.
Yep.
Like it's like a potato sack.
It almost gives you the core line feels. Obviously, it's not.
Yeah, that's what it does. It gives you that feeling.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I like I said, I like it. I think, and you know, I was kicking myself because I was like, man, I wonder. And this is before it came out. I'm like, man, I wonder if that's going to be something like down the line, because you know it's got the upside down thing on the tag and you know the back. And I'm like, you know me, I like weird stuff like that. So
I like that stuff
again,
too.
Man, that retail price, if it was 110. But I mean, after tax and everything else, I got to believe that shoe would have been what, 160.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't do it, man.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
And plus, like right now, like there's a lot of other stuff that's like pretty reasonably priced that like I probably passed on that I would go back and get before I would pay that for something new like that.
That's so real, because I was just talking to the homie about that. I was like, man, with this retail price going up as much as it's going up, it almost makes you pause and go, you know what, for like $30 to $60, $70 more, I could go back and get something that I really wanted that I missed because the retail price is so crazy now. So,
now let me ask you this though: did you make your top 10 list off the top of your head, or did you have to do some research?
I'd probably say I had 8 shoes off the top of my head, but then I wanted to just double check to make sure I wasn't missing nothing. And I moved some of them into my honorable mentions and moved some other things in that I did forget about.
I think, I pretty much made mine from the top of my head, but I did realize that like a lot of pairs that I had really high on my list, they kind of fell out of it. Yeah, they kind of fell out, you know. And there's a couple pairs on my list that like I used to didn't care nothing for, and I got them pretty up there now. Like as time passed by, I'm like, dang, like them joints is fire. Like I'll tell you this, like MF Dooms, I have never cared for those. I did not understand what they are. And then I saw a pair recently, and I was like, dang, them joints is really nice. And then I saw somebody wearing them, and I was like, you know what? These joints is kind of nice. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not they made my list or not, but they definitely made me think about it.
The problem for me with MF Dooms is it's a personal thing. We talked about this. I don't wear black shoes like that. I don't wear like a solid black shoe. So to me, even though the laces are red and they got a little bit, it's just, to me, that's a restaurant worker shoe. When I see that, it reminds me of someone working in the restaurant. So like, and again, I know a lot of people that love black. I just don't. I might have 3 black shoes in my whole collection, maybe.
Like the black has to be like, I need another color that's a little bit more vibrant. Like black, white, I'm okay. Like I have you know, like one of the other dunks, like it's black and blue, cobalt or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't like, because the blue and the black, they clash to me. Like they're okay. Yeah. Like I don't think they suck. I just, something about black, it needs something to like lighten it up a bit. And I'm like, I don't know about those. But yeah, no, I'm excited to hear your list though. So pickups, you got anything recently? Anything you caught recently?
I got a few things, and realistically, I'd really slow down. Like I haven't really, I mean, unless I get a call or a text, like I'm not really even moving for stuff. I actually really needed those Canyon purples, those 4s. So
me too.
I'm a material guy. You know that. I love the materials. And to me, it gave me that, and it's not, I don't own any Travises. Like I've had them, but I always, they're not really a big deal to me, but they give me that friends and family vibe. But to me, I liked that it was a little bit
brighter.
It was a little bit lighter. It wasn't as deep and dark as the purple. So I got them. I haven't worn them yet, obviously.
Oh, you got them?
Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't know you actually got them. Okay.
Yeah, so I missed on the drop, but one of my homeboys that always hooks me up got my size, so he was able to get me that. So I really like them. I think they're fly. I'm excited because, you know, obviously with the materials, you don't really think that's a winter shoe, but that's a dry fit pants, and just kind of throw them on unlaced, and I'm excited for those.
Yeah, see, I have a homie that bought them like early, like off Goat or StockX or something like that, and them joints is fire. Like I really like them, and I was mad. I missed the release. Like I missed the release, and I was like, dang, like, oh well. But then somebody asked me that they had an extra pair, and they asked me if I wanted it, but they're like way in Florida, and the shoe was already like $225 or something.
Yeah.
And shipping from Florida is like $30. And I'm like, man, I ain't trying to drop no $250, $260 on them. Like I just wasn't into it. I kind of regretting it a little bit, because I feel like a lot of the 4s this year have been really good. Like
they have. I agree. And I haven't, the military blacks to me are just, I mean, they're amazing. But again, I don't wear 4s, so it had to be something weird for me to get it, because 4s are boots, man. For me, I'm too short for that. I'm 5'6", so. I am too. And 4s are boots.
Every once in a while, you know, I could pull off a 4 a little bit, but they are big. Like, you know, it's like when you first put them on, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm rocking these today. But then, like, as the day goes by, I'm like, dang, these joints are huge. Like I'm like, I can't do nothing with them. Then like I wore them unlaced, and then like when you walk a certain way, the top gets all wide, and then you're like, I don't know about these. Like, but
100%. Let's see. So I got taxis. They're not for me. I didn't get them for me. I'm not gonna say, I mean, but I wanted them.
Right.
But again, it was one of those things where like retail price was almost $200, and I think that, in my opinion, out of all the Jordan 1s, I mean, I know the reverse mochas came out. This is like a top 3. That taxi is amazing to me.
Oh, it's really good.
I really, really like it. I think the materials are good. So, I mean, the shoe is dope, in my opinion.
I wish the yellow one, it was more yellow, because it's
so
like,
gold.
Yeah, it's like goldenrod. Like it's not. Yeah. I really wanted it to be yellow, like, you know. But they dope though.
Well, and see, for me, I thought I like the golden color, because to me, the best in hand pack, what is it? I always mispronounce it. The Orsha, whatever it is.
Yeah, Orsha, whatever it is.
That one was one of the most fire ones in the pack to me. And to me, this is the same thing without the suede, or it's similar. It gives me the similar feel. I mean, obviously it's blocked a little differently, but I like them. I think that they'll be I think that with it being more gold too, it's more wearable. Like you can wear it with more things.
Oh, I agree. And I always forget about that pack because you bought something out of that pack, didn't you?
Yeah, I have the clay greens.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. That's right.
Yeah, I ended up shooting them to a homie. I mean, I had a 9.5, and a lot of 9.5s they fit me, but those were always big,
Right.
and that price was ridiculous. So I went, I had to let that one go.
Yeah.
If it was a 9, I wouldn't have sold it though.
Right.
I think the shoe was that nice, but everything in that pack was amazing. The blue moons were amazing, but yeah, I was bummed that wasn't a 9. So I got the Skate Like a Girls.
How are those in hand?
Really good. I almost passed on them. I really wasn't really tripping off of them, but then the more I look at them, the more I like them. You know, that tongue is corduroy. It's just, you know, the difference. The materials. You and I have spoken about this. The materials on the SBs this year to me are wild. Like the quality of the materials on the SBs, they're really, especially with all the collabs, they're really killing it.
Right.
Same thing with this one.
See, I've never had. I can only think of maybe 1 or maybe 2 SBs. I thought the materials were bad. SBs always have really good materials on them. Like, and that's why if I'm gonna make a dunk list, I don't think I could use any of the sportswear dunks. I mean, like besides plums and stuff like that,
right?
It's just leather, you know. And if the leather isn't good, it's just a shoe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now those Skate Like a Girls, I'll tell you this, like, and I'll tell you this with a lot of sneakers this year. Picture wise, I wasn't too like hyped on a lot of sneakers, but then when I see them in person, I'm like, oh yeah, these is crazy. Like I think this was a really good year for sneakers.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a really good year, and I just think the retail price on the stuff, the hike just killed a lot of it. Because I agree. I think there's a ton of great sneakers that have came out. Even the Barts. Like I know you had said on the podcast, somebody had told you like their materials on their Barts weren't very good. I've actually seen that. The material on my Barts is good, but I've seen some in hand that weren't so good. So that's kind of a crapshoot. But everything else seems fine.
Yeah, like everybody I've talked to that has the Barts is 50-50 on them. Some are like, oh man, in hand these are crazy, and some are like, oh no, these are trash. And I'm like, man, really? And like the people that have said that they're fire in hand are people that I trust. You know, like Tapes. Right. Tapes told me they're fire in hand, and then other people that are just like people that I just kind of know. You know, so I'm like, dang, like, and you know, then I didn't mind the Barts. It's just that I felt like the other Simpson joints looked like the Simpson characters, I guess, if you want to say that. Like, I felt like the Barts were too bright. I don't know what it was. Like, it was something about them that I was just like, meh.
And see, and I put that's not that shoe is not, you're not going to wear that shoe that often. So I think what most people were expecting was the red to be maybe a little bit darker.
I was.
Than it was.
It was too bright.
Yeah, and see, for me, I was like, to me, it was just a wild shoe, and I immediately put I call them the Slurpee laces, but the slushy laces, whatever, the green lace. Yeah, I put that in immediately. And it's a weird shoe. Like, you're not going to wear it that often. Of course, it's weird, but I don't know. The materials were good, and I like it, but I've worn them one time, so I just don't see that happening very often. So I got the Why So Sads. It was the same thing with those. I was just like, I don't know about it. It seemed kind of kiddie, but then I got them in hand, and then when I got them in hand, I looked at it and I was like, I hadn't seen any pictures. So I was like, this check looks like it's a wearable check. So I was like, let me grab an eraser and work on the inside. And sure enough, it erases to yellow. And so after you do that, I really like them. I was on the fence about them. I was like, they're cool. But then once you get that yellow off it kind of brings everything else back in, I think.
And I tried for them, but I just tried for them just to try for them because I already have I can't remember what they're called. They got the mosquito in the back. Me and George.
Oh, the FTCs.
Yeah. I had those and they look very similar. You know.
Yeah, I think the FTCs are probably better. I really like those, the ones with mosquito on the back. You're talking about the old FTCs. Yeah.
So them was like one of my favorites, like, you know, and I was like, these kind of look very similar, but just like you said, like I didn't see that swoosh come off. You're the very first person I ever seen on the Why So Sads do that.
Yeah.
And I
like them.
They never advertised them like, you know, you could do that to the swoosh. I never seen anybody who had them early do that to the swoosh. Like I was like, oh shoot, that's ton of fire.
Yeah, I think it just, for whatever reason, it just brought the rest, because there's a little yellow hints throughout the shoe,
Right.
and it just kind of brought it together better. And to me, I didn't even picture as well as it looked in hand. Like in hand, it looks a lot better because it actually looks a little bit worn and beat up a little bit. So I think it looks cool.
Oh, that's what's up.
And then last thing, just kind of recently, today I got exclusive access on the Lost and Founds, which is shocking. So I'm very excited about that.
I know we're going to talk about the sneakers access a little. I mean, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I will say, and for whatever the reason may be, they made a lot more pairs. I don't know what it is, but to me, this may be the first time in sneaker culture and stuff like that where I said to myself, like, this is how it's supposed to be. And I feel that way because it's Chicago. Like, we're talking about OG. Like, you don't get any older than an 85 Jordan 1 high. You know what I mean? Now, if it was hard for everybody to get a taxi, whatever. Like, it wasn't. But, like, if that would have been really hard for everybody to get a taxi, fine, I get it. But to me, at this point in stage in sneakers, shouldn't nobody have to super duper struggle to get like a Bread 1 or a Chicago or a Shadow or a Royal? Like, we're talking about, if a sneakerhead can't get any more sneakers the rest of his life, he should be able to get those. Those are like Trinity legendary killers. You know what I mean?
Right. So let me ask you this. Do you think that this is the only release? Do you think they're going to re-release them like around Christmas or something like that? Or do you think, because like my buddy was saying, 500K, right? They were telling us 500K.
Right. But
like I said, bro, there's 10 million people in LA County. Like, the 500K is really not. I mean, if you're looking at it in the quote unquote sneaker community and the resellers, I mean, 500K is, even though it seems like a lot, doesn't really feel like a lot.
Like, and
is that 500K all like the full size run? Is that GS and toddler and everything, or is 500K strictly men's?
That's where I have questions with a lot of this stuff when it comes to sneakers, because when they say a 500K total, like you said, does that include kids, toddlers, GS, all that, and adults? Does that also include and also with like exclusive access? Like, how many did they allow today? You know what I mean? Like, if you made 500, because like they don't come out until like I think the 11th, right? Like I think
the 19th.
The 19th. Okay, so it's like today, like even when I got here, because I got my son a pair, well, he listens to the podcast. Yeah, it's probably a Christmas gift, but anyways, he's 23, so. But I got him a pair, and still all day, sneakers kept notifying me that I have exclusive access. So I thought I could buy more than one, but like it kept telling me that I already purchased it. But I'm just like, dang, they're really trying to push this. Like right before we started the podcast, I got a notification like, hey, last call for exclusive access for the Lost and Found. I'm like, last call? Like, this is kind of crazy. And, like you said, like with the Travis Scotts, they had over 1 million plus entries to that. Now, I don't know how many of that is computer generated bots or whatever else that like keeps entering raffles and whatnot. Like, who knows? But, that 500,000, it doesn't sound like a lot in totality, but like compared to what they probably made in the Purple Fours, they probably made like 60,000. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So
well, I mean, and that's not something I've ever had, like I've ever looked into or anything like that. So
me neither.
Now that they've started releasing these numbers, I'm like, okay, like I get it. Because, but like you said, it's weird because like everyone else, this is a shoe that I really wanted. This is one of the shoes I really, really wanted this year. I like the worn look on sneakers. It's just something that I like. So for me, it was easy. It was an easy no-brainer. But I looked last night. I looked on this morning, and I didn't have access. And then I got a text message or a notification at 9:01 saying I had access. So I went in, got it. It declined my payment. It said it was no good initially. And then the second time it went through immediately. Got confirmation and everything. But just like you, I kept getting notifications throughout the day hey, this is last chance.
Right.
You know what I didn't do is I didn't look to see if I could get a GS or something, and so now I'm probably kicking myself.
See,
well, it's not too late.
I don't even know if, I didn't look either. Like, I never really scroll all the way to the bottom or check anything like that, for the GS.
Right.
I always forget GS stuff be on sneakers sometimes.
Me too. Every single time I do.
Yeah, I don't ever remember until I see Tapes get them. Tapes get them for his daughter, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I didn't even think about it,
Right.
But I will say that, like, the one thing, like you said, you never looked into that either because, Europe has their own Nike site, and I think Asia does too. Like a lot of these, like I don't know if that 500,000 includes in their stock as well, or do they get their own allocation of pairs to like Europe and stuff like that. But I've always wondered, like, what does restock mean as well? Because it's like how Black White Pandas keep restocking. It's like, did they make like 5 million of them and they just keep releasing them? Or are they actually still making them on a regular basis, and as shipments comes in, they restock them? Because to me, a restock is like a fresh pairs, like off the conveyor belt. You know what I mean? That's what I would consider a restock, but I just don't ever know what that means. Like,
Yeah, I'm with you, and I hope they do that. Like, I mean, obviously, I got a pair, but I don't care what anybody else has. I don't care if they make a million of these. I love what they're doing with the Pandas, and I'm with you. They like Chicago's, bread, like black reds, whatever that breads, whatever. Those should be. I agree. You should be able to walk into a store and it's not going to be immediate. Like, it'll take months of them, quote unquote, restocking over and over again. But just like the Pandas, like, it's going to get to the point to where the Pandas, if they do it every month, I absolutely love it. I don't have any. I bought some for both my younger boys.
Right.
It's just not a shoe for me.
Right.
But I love the shoe, which is weird, right? I mean, I really do like the shoe. I'm with you that I love that Nike's like, this is going to be our shoe, and we're going to continue to release it, and we're going to send it everywhere we can. And if you want this shoe, we're going to make sure you don't have to pay a reseller, $260 for it or whatever. I love that.
And that's why what bothered me about people, like, it's like, okay, like, if you don't like the shoe, you don't like the shoe, that's fine. But like, people started saying it sucks, it's whack, it's this and that, because it kept coming out. And I was like, I thought that's what you guys wanted. Like, I thought we wanted to be able to get something on a regular basis. Like, like I said, like, I don't know what it was today with the Chicago ones. Like, a lot of people that I talk to on or like follow on, social media, a lot of people got them. Like, a lot of people, and I was like, holy cow, like, it seems like everybody legit had a real shot at these. Like, and that's how it should be. Now, look, they drop something next month and it's hard to get. Cool, I get it. Like, I'm not like, I don't get bothered by that stuff. Like, I get, hey, some things are easier than others. I get it. Like, it is what it is. My whole thing, during like this block the last like 2 to 4 years is that like every single thing got hard, That's what sucked,
Yeah, I agree. That did make it tough, and they've really hurt, I think. But at the end of the day, it's not their core. We're not their core demographic, right? I mean, they're not. They don't care about us. I mean, because they know with us, especially now being, I'm in my late 30s. I'm going to buy sneakers as long as I can.
Right.
So I'm not to the point where I'm going to get mad and say I'm going to swear off sneakers and do any of that stuff.
Right.
So I mean, they know that they're hurting, I think, their core demographic. But at the end of the day, it's just marketing, right? So if they continue to do this, then they're going to keep these people hooked. And even the people that are mad, all they got to do is shoot them access, and then they're going to be hashtagging thank you Nike and all this other
100%.
stuff.
And see, that was my thing too and it's my thing with like Travis's and like Off-White. Like, Travis has released like, I don't know what, 3 or 4 of these lows, right? And cool, like, they're limited. I get it. But one of them needs to be where we can all have a shot at it. You know what I mean? If you're going to release 4 or 5 of these, come on. Like, we all should have the opportunity to own one. Maybe it's not the most fire one out of the entire collection of them, but like, have a legit chance at it. You know what I mean? It's like, cool, I couldn't get mochas. Cool, reverse mochas. Cool, whatever fragments. Cool. But like, hey, olives, hey, you could make a ton of those for us,
I'm praying they do. I love those.
I do too. I like all the Travises except that all black one. That all black one is whack.
Horrible. Absolutely. But again, that shoe will probably be, if they released 1 million of those, people would probably still pay even more. What's so funny is I don't like the blocking on any of the highs. Like, I don't like the blocking on the frag highs. I don't like the blocking on the
even on mochas?
Original mocha.
Really?
Yeah, no. I felt like the OGs, they should have been swapped. The blocking should have been swapped.
See, the fragment ones, I do agree with you on. That fragment high, it doesn't even compare to the low. Like, it's not even close. Like, it's off. Like, I don't understand it, you know?
Yeah, and what's so funny is everyone lost their mind. Everyone's losing their mind on that high, right? That fragment high?
Yeah.
Bro, the blocking is almost as similar as it is on that heritage that everybody hates.
Yeah, and I did not care for that heritage one.
And neither do I. It's too much white.
It's way too much white. And I will say, when I saw it in hand, I was like, it's not too bad. Actually, you know what? Not in hand. I saw younger people wearing it, like some kids wearing it. And it looked like, okay, this is a kid's Jordan 1. You know what I mean? Like, it's way too much white for, somebody our age, but like, a kid that's just going to school, it looked just fine on them. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I just got to understand, like, what's for me and what's not for me. You know what I mean? That's why I end up wearing Vans majority of the time anyways, So,
right.
I ended up getting, like, I got access to today, and I got my son a pair. So, I was good for that because it was, like, Christmas gift, and we do a family Secret Santa. So, I don't know. Plus, we're getting ready to go out of town, and I'm like, he may want to wear them now and whatnot, but it just makes it easier. Like, he wanted those, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's easy. He's 23, so, like, at his age, telling whether they want cash,
Right.
And then I ended up getting a pair of the Salehi Crocs, like the pinkish ones, I guess. And them joints is cool. Like, like I told everybody, like, I got no problems with Crocs, but, like, things like that to me is like I'm running to the store to grab a loaf of bread or some Starbucks or something. Like, I personally, I'm not putting together a fit. Like, I just, I can't. Like, to me, it's slippers. Like, it's a slipper to me. But, they cool. I ain't mad at them. Like, $100-something for a foam thingy seems a little crazy. But, I ain't mad at them. And then, what else did I get? I think that's it. I think.
Yeah, I don't understand the Crocs thing, but that's a whole, that can go on to a whole other dialogue. I don't get it.
I understand it. I just don't understand. Actually, you know what? See, like, for me personally, I see the kids, like, wear them before they got a basketball game and, things like that. Like, I don't mind that. Or, like, wearing them to the pool, you slip them on, sleep them off to the beach, I guess. Like, wearing them as a fit, like legit, like, putting your clothes together to go with your Crocs is wild to me. Like, I just don't get it. And plus, for me, look, I'm a paranoid person. I do not wear. I am not wearing nothing like that just in case I have to get to scrapping, or I got to protect my family, or I got to start running. Like, I will not be caught in a flip flop trying to dip from, like, an active shooter or something. I won't. All right. Like,
I'm with you too. I'm a little bit of a paranoid person, and to me, that's like one of those things. Is like, okay, what if something falls on your foot? Like,
I don't want any risk at all.
Right.
Like, like, I know cats like to get relaxed, go to the airport. And look, I do it every once in a while too. Like, I'm not going to act like I don't. But, like, airports, crazy stuff be happening in the airports, man. And, the last few times I've been to the airport, it's just been a bag sitting there in the middle of the aisle. And they're like, oh, shoot, call the bomb people. And they come I'm like, I ain't got time for all that, man. Like, I ain't trying to get blown up or have to run and chase. And, like, I'm barefoot, running through the Arizona desert or, somewhere cold or something because I was trying to be.
Hilarious.
Like, I'm trying to be comfortable on a flight. Like, to me, you get on the airplane, cool, take your shoes off. Like, you all right. Like, take your shoes off if it's that serious. Like, I ain't got time for all that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm a shoe guy. I wear slides in the house. Like, I'm weird about wearing shoes. Like, so people taking their shoes off in the airport. So that's wild to me. That is absolutely wild. But hey, like I said, as long as they ain't putting up on my seat, we good, man. They can do what they want to do.
You gonna do releases for me?
Yeah, I can do releases.
What you gonna look? Where you get them from?
So I know I've heard George say that he just kind of looks on that one site, and so I did that and just kind of sneakers. It seemed like there's a lot of stuff that's releasing in the next week. So I'll try to blow through it. First off, the Halloween Dunk, which is wild because the Halloween Dunk has been in stores for like 2.5 weeks now.
I just saw them in store.
Yeah, and then it came out on the sneakers app today, and I thought it was a glitch, which is super funny, like you said. Why are you releasing the Halloween Dunk and the Voodoo Zion 1 2 weeks after Christmas? Or, excuse me, 2 weeks after Halloween. That makes no sense.
It's over.
Now, I'll tell you what. In pictures, that dunk is whack. In person, I was trying to get my size.
So, I was...
Halloween.
Yeah, so I was at Undefeated the other day, and I was just looking around. I went to go get the ASU colored dunks, and they didn't, they were already a line wrapped around the building. So I just went inside and looked around, and I saw a guy with them in hand. And I think everybody feels the same way, like you just said. In pictures, it's like, this is it. But he was holding them. He was like, man, these joints is really nice. And I was like, man, them joints do look nice.
Yeah, they are. They're super nice, and they got some weird feel to them. But I didn't get it at first. When I first seen the shock drop, I was like, what? It's just a black path.
Right.
And then, but then someone had to point it out to me. They're like, "Oh no, it's a shadow in the background." I was like, "Oh, that is pretty cool." And then like the cool tech from the back. I don't know. I like it.
Wait a minute.
Like I said,
it's a shadow.
Yeah. So if you look at the shoe, like the check, there's another check behind it that's supposed to be like a ghost or like a shadow or something. Like that's the reflective material in the back, and then it's throughout the shoe, but. Yeah, someone had to tell me about it. I'm telling you.
Wait a minute. So that's what that's supposed to mean?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's a shadow or a reflection or a ghost or what it is, but there's a large check in behind the actual stitched check.
See, I've noticed that, but I just thought they just did a double swoosh. Like,
it's supposed to be something with Halloween because all the text on the back is like that too, and then like there's little drip graphics and stuff. I think it's cool. I like it.
It needs to be a little bit more literal for me. Like,
yeah, and again, to me, in person on the pictures, it just looked like a dark shoe. Like I was like, oh, okay, I see, I get it. But then in person, it's not that dark, right? I mean, it's more of a
it's
charcoal
not that dark at all
than it is a black.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of see it. Yeah. I didn't realize they released a Blazer too.
Yeah, the Blazer was not great either.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we got? The Zion. We talked about the Zion a little bit. I don't know if you want to really talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
The Fruity Pebble LeBron Dunk.
That was for kids.
That's another kid shoe to me. Like I don't understand why. I don't know.
That whole collection of like a LeBrons and stuff like that, Fruity Pebbles. I mean, Fruity Pebbles came out when LeBron was like 20. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
LeBron is about to hit in his mid 30s and stuff. Fruity Pebbles, it should only be a GS. If it's a GS sneaker, cool. I'm cool with it. But, eh.
Did you see the 19 that they did? That was, I mean, this is probably 7-8 months ago. When they did the first one, they had like the special packaging on the box and everything like that. Did you see that one?
LBJ 19 Fruity Pebble?
Yeah. This is like 6-7 months ago they did this.
I'm sure I did. Let me see. Oh, yeah.
So I got that in hand. I ended up taking it back.
Right.
Because it was too tight. But I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. But again, way too much white. And the white was like iridescent. So I actually think that 19 is better than this Dunk, in my opinion.
Yeah, so like one of the homies who buys a lot of LeBrons, he wasn't cool. Like he wasn't too fond of these. And then he got them in hand. And he was like, oh, they're actually pretty nice in hand. And I like the 19s. Like to me, I like 19s. 19s are cool to me.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I like them. I think they're pretty cool. For me, again, it was just too much white. It was way too much white. Mm-hmm. And the shoe was, I still got a 9.5. When I buy Nike basketball, I always go half size up.
Right.
And it was still too tight. And I was just like, it's too tight. It's an all white shoe. When am I going to wear this?
Yeah, like so the LeBron 20s I got now, I'm pretty confident if I wanted to, I can go with 10.5. And I wear a 9.5. Like that's how tight they are.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I get it for the technology of the kids, and that's why I guess they're able to get away with wearing low tops nowadays, too,
right?
So,
yep,
which is wild to me. So then we got the trophy room 7s, right? So those are coming out. Let's see. I didn't. My bad. I didn't write down the days, but so those are supposed to be coming out tomorrow, right?
Something like that. You like those?
I really, really do.
I do too.
I really do. I'm not gonna go for them.
Me neither.
That's $250, bro.
Yeah, I just don't feel like paying it. Like
that's what it is with me.
And
I like them a lot.
And that's what I keep telling people. I'm like, look, I ain't broke, but I ain't got it. Like, yep. I just, God, $250, and them joints look nice, but I can't do it, man.
Yeah, again, if I wouldn't have got lost and found, if I wouldn't have got like the canyons, and maybe I maybe would have done it, but right. Yeah, but I'm cool. It's too close to Christmas for me.
Yeah.
Social status penny 2.
Mm-hmm.
I like that too. I mean, but it's a faded penny 2.
It's safe. I mean, to me, like I said, like there's been maybe 1 or 2 other pennies and other colorways that I've liked, but they just made an Orlando colorway and made it lighter, so it can't suck. Mm-hmm. It's just cool. But like, I ain't copping, so.
I think those came out already too. I think because I seen my son's basketball game. I could have sworn one of the dads had on. Didn't they make like the original, like the black and blue one?
The black ones.
Yeah, he had those.
Okay, yeah, the black ones came out like probably a couple weeks ago, and the white ones, for whatever reason, they came out at Social Status. They got pushed back at other stores and came out at some stores. So who knows?
Yeah, they're cool. Again, like
I'm at
penny 2.
Oh yeah.
That Jordan 9 boot.
Which is the actual boots, right?
The actual boots, yeah.
See,
the Jordan 9 boot. NRG,
I like those.
Well, of course, you should. It's a Jordan 9 is a boot. That's what it should have been made for.
That's what I kept telling people. I was like, I like the Jordan 9 boots because the actual shoe is like a boot. Like, so like when you actually make it a boot, it makes sense to me. Like, you know, now I ain't copping, but you know, 'cause we live in the desert, so having a boot out here is only for construction work. But other than that, like them joints is cool. They also expensive too. I ain't paying that.
Yeah, they crazy expensive.
Well, imagine if you wanted to cop the pennies, these boots, and the Zions and something. Fam, you'd be almost at a rack already, maybe more.
Yeah, and there's no. I mean, like you just said, the pennies, the trophy rooms, and the boots. Bro, I can go back and get some stuff I really want for that, and I would much rather have than those 7, or excuse me, than those 3 shoes.
Right.
There's no way. Yeah. Now, what is going to be hard for me is the Silver Bullet coming back out. So ooh. I didn't hit when they did it. What was it? 5 years ago now?
Something like that.
I didn't get it then. I was excited, but I know this is probably going to make you blow your top, but I think the golds are better than the silver.
Oh, no. Gold's my favorite. Golds are better than silvers.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Gold to me is my favorite 97 of all time.
Oh, all time. It's my favorite Air Max of all time. It's period.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be my top 2 for sure.
Gold Air Max, gold are my top 7. Now, silver bullets, I got silver bullets and I got gold ones. I will tell you this, those pairs of silver bullets that came out, like, I want to get these only because, like, I didn't wear my silver bullets as much as I should have. I wore my golds more, and I went and looked at my silver bullets, and the air bubble was, like, all foggy and crusty and stuff. And I probably could clean it off. Like, I think they're still wearable. Like, I don't think the sole will come off or anything, but I was shocked at how fast that happened. Like, I have worn them a few times, but I was like, what the heck is up with these? Like, even the golds, I wore the golds a lot, and they were still kind of, like, showing wear, like showing age or whatever.
See, my golds are okay. Yeah, my golds are fine. And I got them, it was somewhere around there too. Like, what was that, 2016, whatever. When they re-released those, I got those. But yeah, silver bullets to me are more nostalgia than anything else. But yeah, that one, again, it's going to be tough, but it's 200. So
right. I know I can't do it, man.
So women's Jordan 11, which I think is a really good looking shoe.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean the velvet. They did that. What was it? That maroon one a couple years ago. So
maroon one is fire.
The maroon one is fire. I agree. I think this one is really good too.
Yeah, and I think it's a women's shoe. Like I
Yep,
don't know what I can do
100%.
with it, but I think it's a women's shoe. So, you know.
Then the AJ, that Eastside Golf, so they're doing the 12 and the 1. Right.
Do you know the only thing I'm surprised about this is that the 12 is only 200. Because it's a collab and it's a 12. Now I don't know what the other 12s were going for. Like, was a 12 only going for 185? Like,
I think so.
Because I'm like, man,
yeah,
200 seems reasonable for a collaboration 12. And it's still a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, I would expect the collaboration to at least be 225, 230, you know.
Right.
And I don't care for these at all. So
I don't feel like I say this that often. This shoe sucks. that 12 sucks. Like,
it does.
The 1 is okay, but the 12 looks like they got a basketball like material on the side. Then they're saying it's clay. It looks like someone stepped on like someone's head or something.
It's supposed to be like considered out the mud. So I guess maybe like the sand trap on the golf course. I don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. I love that brand. Like, I don't own anything from the brand, but the brand is cool. You know, it's a
right.
You know, black guys who started their own golf brand. I think it's out of Detroit, and you know, it's cool. You know what I mean? But like, that shoe sucks.
It super sucks. The 1 is okay. For me personally, if I'm gonna buy a 1, it's gonna be an OG cut, and even the stuff that's OG cut nowadays still has that small swoosh, which bothers me, but not enough not to try to get at least an OG cut. I wish they just put the big
It has to be an OG cut, and you know that small swoosh used to didn't bother me, but man, I think it did with the neutral grays. I think it did bother me after a while. Like, I just didn't really think much until I was like really looking at it like, man, this joint does look a little off.
Yeah, I don't. It bothers me that one that they did that everyone hates that I love. I think it was last year, that red. I don't remember who the collab is now. Forgive me. It's like black. It's got all the different materials on it. The black one with the red suede toe, and then it's got like the tiger print on it. And
Soulfly.
Yeah, the Soulfly one.
Yeah.
That has the big swoosh on it.
All right.
It's the OG cut, and I bought gold laces, like a real deep dark gold laces, and threw them in, and I love that shoe. I don't know why everybody hates that shoe. I absolutely love that shoe. If I could get another pair for retail, I'll buy another pair.
Yeah, like, I didn't know why people didn't like it either. Now, I've never seen a pair in person, but I thought it was cool to me. I tried for it.
Yeah, I liked it. It's a good shoe. But that H-Town Air Force One, I don't like Air Force Ones at all. So
no, I don't. Now, I will say the New Orleans one was kind of nice. It was kind of cool with the jewel swoosh on the like diamond swoosh on the side of the NOLA pair. I thought they was okay, but like, no, I can't do Air Force Ones. So.
Yeah, me either. So I see on that website that the Puma's doing a Pokemon collab, and they got 4 different models. The RSX, which I like the RSX in general, that one's Pikachu, and that one's pretty cool. The other ones they're all kid shoes to me.
Yeah, they a bit much. I'm not mad at them. Like, I mean, it is probably the perfect time to come out with a Pokemon thing. Like, my son is like super duper into Pokemon cards now for whatever reason. I think his friends are at school, you know, really into it. But, you know, they're kid shoes. Like, I can't be almost 40 with Pikachu on my foot. I just can't. Nope. I can't, you know.
No, me either. I can't. I'm with you. Then Stussy's got a collab next week. I think it's on Tuesday next week. So they got that high, the Converse. It's a high and a low.
Oh yeah.
They're cool. I mean, it reminds me of the '90s, but I mean, I'm not gonna buy them.
Nope.
Then Soleil Bimberry's that Croc, the black one.
Oh, the black one. Yeah, nah. That looks like kitchen. Like that's what they were back in the kitchen.
Yeah, 100%. And the only shoe that I've ever liked, including the Yeezys, that has that model. I don't know if you ever seen it. I've seen it in person. I love the shoe. I'd never buy it or slide the Versace one, because to me, like, that Versace logo it just goes so well. Have you ever seen that slide?
The Versace slide with the gold Medusa
with the
head on it.
Yeah.
That was clean.
That is the only one in that entire, like I said, you can Yeezys, Crocs, whatever. To me, that's the only one because it looks like it's part of the statuesque look.
Yeah, I ain't mad at those.
I don't get it. And then the one that kind of threw me off, and it's on here, but I couldn't find it anywhere else, but I honestly didn't look that hard, was the Jordan 1 Gorge Green.
Oh, that's just, wait a minute. That's not the one with the silver swoosh, is it?
Yeah, it's the one that's just like the Japans and the Bordeaux and all that.
I don't like those.
It's got a jewel. I think it's got a jewel wings logo too. I think.
Yeah, it do. I don't like those. Like, meh.
Yeah,
I'm just
not a fan either.
I'm not the silver swoosh. Just I feel like it worked for the Japans, the blue ones, but like I got those Bordeaux ones that I was supposed to do something to. I just they suck, man. Like it's something about them. I just don't rock with them.
The only I don't even like the OG Japans. I'm with you. I don't like the silver swoosh. I just zoomed in on these. These materials look pretty good though. It looks like it's good leather. But yeah, I'm not a fan of any of those. The only shoe that I think I own that has a silver swoosh is those Street Hawkers. One of the swooshes is supposed to be like
I like those
spoon or whatever they use.
I thought those were dumb at first, but them joints is fire. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of those dunks that I thought like doing like last year and a couple years where I was like, ew. Then I saw them in like a store, like, dang, these is fire. It's like those what was them joints called? Strange Loves. Look, it's a bit much, pink and red and all that stuff, and velvet and all that. But man, when I saw them joints in person, I was like, oh, okay, I could see why people lost their minds for these. Like, these are a little bit something special,
Yeah, I'm with you. I like those. The Street Hawkers are probably the SB that I own that I wear the most. If I'm just going anywhere, I just put them on. And I mean, you can put them on essentially with anything, and they look good. I like them.
That's how I treat Clivers.
But yeah. Say again?
That's how I treat Clivers, my Christmas ones.
Yeah. Oh, bro, don't even, man. And you talked about wearing them. Those are one, and that one and the Strange Love, for whatever reason, I missed. And just,
I'll be wearing mine barefoot.
and yeah, I've tried to get Clivers. I offered this one dude when they were like $600. There was like a little pop up. I offered this dude, I think $450. He was asking $550. He didn't take them. He still kept. They're still up for sale. I love them. It's just I don't wear baby blue or powder blue that often. I love the shoe though. I absolutely love it. There's nothing. You won't hear me say anything bad about it. But
let me tell you something. In hand, the shoe is nice, but it's kind of whack. It's super tacky. And I get it because, like, it's suede velvet. It has gold laces, silver laces, green glitter. It has every single element of material you could possibly think of on it. And I was like, man, these joints are a bit much for me, But I wear them joints. I be wearing them joints skating. I be barefoot. Like I treat them joints bad, but they're mine. So I treat them accordingly. So, but that's it.
I heard that. That's all I got, bro. That's all I got.
Didn't know if you wanted to say anything with regards to Kanye or anything, any kind of final thoughts or anything you personally. I know, like me and you have had conversations with regards to Kanye and, Adidas pairs and stuff like that. I know you've sold them and then got them back and sold them again, I think. I know you have anything to add to that or,
I pretty much agree with you on that. I don't have anything positive to say about Kanye. I think it's sad. I think he needs help, obviously. But for me, I did sell them all. The White Lives Matter shirt to me just kind of killed everything for me. Like I'm good at compartmentalizing things.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, if I don't support him. I don't support his views on certain things, and I think he's kind of wilding out the way he talks, about Kim and the Pete Davidson thing. Like that was kind of crazy to me. But I was able to separate that, and I'm not saying that for everyone the White Lives Matter should have drawn the line, but just for me personally, this is the same person that said the things that he said in the past,
right?
About politicians not caring, and then on top of that, some of the lyrics in the songs like you played, I thought it was perfect to start last week's show with that. Like the things that you said, and to turn around and now you're doing this. I think it's sad, but I don't wish any ill will on him. I hope he gets some help, but I don't want to support anything that he does, because to me, like I said, I really wish, I hope Adidas, because I told my buddy, I told him immediately. I said, he goes, when they had sent the thing about Foot Locker stopping this, I go, all they're going to do is send them new boxes and rebrand it. That's all they're going to do. And I said, I really hope that they call Kim. And I'm probably one of the people that let's just say I'm not a Kim Kardashian fan, even a little bit. But I'm like, I really hope that they call her, because that would be the smartest play, in my opinion, for Adidas too, because then you can get away with that. You rebrand it and you don't tie it to something like that.
Right.
It's going to be really difficult, in my opinion. But again, I'm not in marketing. So.
And see, and that's like, I want nothing but the best for Kanye. Like, I really want Kanye to be, like I said, like, I appreciate anybody who feels that they're fighting for something, for like a bigger cause, but I also appreciate people who know how to fight correctly. You know what I mean? And a lot of people were like sending me messages, and like there were a lot of people that were like real Muslims and like stuff like that, sending me like these super deep messages and stuff. And look, I'm not super duper well versed in a lot of that stuff. Like, I've done a lot of history lessons and stuff like that and understand it and stuff like that. But like, for me personally, to this day, like, I'm so concerned with right now that like everything that happened in 1875 or in BC and all that just isn't something that has any strong effect on what I need to do as a father and a husband and stuff like that to this day. It's very important for my history, and it's very important for stuff like that to be taught and understood so it doesn't die out. I do believe in history, but whether or not somebody, like, because it's proven that black people are the original Jewish people, that's cool, but it doesn't give me the right to now trash other Jewish people. That just doesn't work for me. Now, this is the one thing that I want to let everybody know, and this is just for me. I'm not speaking for Josh, George, nobody else. People were like, I stand with KYRIE and Kanye. No. Those are two separate things to me, okay? Kanye, I wouldn't have any issue with Kanye's views if he presented it in a educational manner versus like strong opinions. And when he said, I'm in my anti-Semitic vibe, that was it. Like, you said you're in that. You used all the keywords to be in that. I can't stand with you for that. That's cool. KYRIE thing is a little bit different for me because I feel like they're trying to crucify KYRIE. Okay.
Okay.
And we could talk about it then. So the KYRIE situation, obviously, Nike, and we'll get to, a little bit of Nike with him a little bit. And, I don't want to harp on this for like super duper long, but, the KYRIE situation with him tweeting out or sharing the movie Hebrews to Negroes or something like that from Amazon's website. No caption, no nothing. He tweeted that out. Now, I had never heard of the book, the movie. I had never heard of any of this stuff. Okay. Now, the one thing that I will say about KYRIE, because I went and did some research. I went and looked at it, read reviews, read about the book, read stuff like that on many different platforms. The book across the board is considered extremist views and a lot of that. I get that. KYRIE, just for KYRIE himself, for over the last few years, just always kind of being in the media for like quote unquote weird stuff, if you want to say that. He has to do a little bit more homework before sharing stuff like that. Like, he just has to for himself. Now, I'm not saying that he was trying to prove a point. I think he legitimately watched this movie or whatever and took it as like just learning a little bit more or another point of view about black people, like his people. I don't think he understood the other part of it and how bad it reflected on another group of people in community. Now, that's fine and dandy. They asked KYRIE about it. He apologized. He apologized in his own way and then later apologized on Instagram and stuff like that. I get it. And then they just kept harping on it. And it was like, I'm like, okay, man, like, what more do you want this man to do? Now, he did get suspended for 5 games. And now this is where, for me, it gets crazy, is when, and I don't know if you saw it, the checklist of things he needs to do before he gets back on the Nets. This is where I look at them trying to humiliate him. Like, you're trying to strip him of his dignity now. Like, to me, and this is what punishment is to me, if you're going to suspend somebody, like, if you suspend me, that's my punishment. Like, he's already apologized a few times. He did that. Cool. Then you suspend him. To me, the suspension is my punishment, regardless if I say anything else later on. Like, I don't view me to necessarily have to say anything else later on. Like, I already apologized. You suspend me. I'm done. He tried to donate $500,000 to ADL, which is like the Anti-Defamation League or something like that. They didn't want the money. But then now it's a part of this checklist of he must pay that money, go visit rabbi leaders, and then like sit in front of the owner and like, the owner basically has to believe him. It just sounds like it just sounds crazy, like, to me. Like, he has to beg them to come back after he already apologized and tried to donate. Like, they denied the money the first time, but now they want the money? Things like that bother me.
Gotcha. I'm a pretty opinionated person.
Yes. And I want you to be.
Yeah, I have really strong, couple things. Number one, not only just because he's a celebrity, but adults, we all realize this. You don't, especially now in today's world, especially when you have real jobs, you don't get to just say certain things and not provide context. Because I don't care if you have a job or you don't, but when you say things and you don't provide context, now you're giving everyone the ability to misconstrue or misunderstand what your meaning behind it is. So Number one, he messed up by not providing context, in my opinion. Number two,
no, I agree with you.
KYRIE, not to harp back on the Kanye thing, but both of those, they both think that they're so much smarter than every other person on this planet. And they're going to enlighten us by these ideas. And if we don't get it, it's just because we're not on their level.
And not to interrupt you, sorry, that's the same thing that I've always said about Kanye, is that, like, even when he was pushing the Trump stuff and stuff like that, he talked to us as if, like, we're fools for not understanding it. It wasn't that, like, this is my view. It's like, you idiots don't get it. Like, I'm trying to teach you something because I know everything. I hate that.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. So, KYRIE, so now this is where it gets a little complex for me. KYRIE didn't apologize because his ego, and this is, again, all this stuff is just my opinion.
Right.
His ego wouldn't allow him to do that. He did everything in that interview short of apologizing the first time. Okay. When you work for somebody, especially someone that you've been a real pain in the ass to, they're looking for an opportunity to if they're not going to fire you, to make an example of you.
Great point.
So, I'm sorry?
I said great point.
So all he did was give Joe Tsai, after all the foolishness last year and all the foolishness the year before and then the foolishness this summer, all he did was give Joe Tsai the perfect opportunity to make an example of him when he couldn't do anything about it. So he put himself in that position. No one else did. And by then, his ego not allowing him to truly apologize, not to mention, I don't know if you know this, but the reason the ADL didn't take the money from him initially is because he didn't even show up to the meeting. He sent a representative. So Joe Tsai showed up. I don't remember if Adam Silver did or not, but KYRIE didn't even he sent a representative. So in my opinion is again, I think people need to, I think that they're making it the people that are making it about race, I don't even care about that. You have a job with an employer. You've embarrassed this employer, and not only have you embarrassed them, but you've embarrassed them and possibly, potentially in the future, cost them money, whether it's a little money or a lot of money. We know it's a lot of money. They're, number one, going to make an example out of you because you've been a pain in the ass. Number two, they're going to make an example out of you because the people that you offended directly do business with them. And they have to make a hard stance on that. I don't think it has anything to do with the way that they're handling KYRIE. I don't think has anything to do with race, or I don't think he's anti-Semitic, but that's just my opinion.
Right. Me neither.
But you made poor decisions, and then your ego didn't allow you to properly dispel those things, because I think his ego was part of the reason why he didn't address it in the first place. Provide context. Like, either you didn't really look at it that closely, or you did and you felt however you felt. I don't know what you felt, but you thought it was good enough to share.
So,
and you didn't provide context.
So with that point, like, I will say, I do agree with that. Like, I'm not 100% confident he actually watched it. I have no idea. Like,
right.
because, you know, when you share something, you know, I don't know, like, if you're at that level of celebrity and you have that many amount of followers and stuff like that, like how often you provide context with anything. Like, if I post a picture, if KYRIE posts a picture of, just like a regular Adam Sandler movie, just to, to me, it's like he likes that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's one of his favorite movies or something. He doesn't have to say, like, check this out or nothing. When it comes,
and I don't.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but you're right. But look what you said. Like, oh, he likes it. When you don't, like, if you don't provide context on something that you're sharing, people are going to assume that you're sharing it because you like it.
And now, depending on the type of context, because I will tell you this, I was really curious at, like, how many times this type of movie or this book has been shared, and depending on how you watch something like this, you could take something different from this. And like I said, like, the movie is based off of a lot of personal beliefs, and, like, it's not good. Like, he had no business doing that, unless he really did mean to, like, try to get that message out there. But when you provide no context, like you said, you allow people to create their own narrative for it. Now, let's say KYRIE had tweeted that out and said, yo, man, this was like something something I learned new today, about, black people or something. Would that have made it a little bit better?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have, because then now you can, by providing that context, like, now you have people, they can't run with it. They can't run with whatever they think is going on and publish whatever they want. They could say, oh, KYRIE, and the next time they have a microphone in front of his face, can you explain to us what you meant by this? And they're going to allow him to be able to talk about, with his ego, what he wants to talk about, and then be able to define what he meant by that, or just say, hey, this is very eye-opening. Again, I'm not going to try to pretend like to put words in his mouth. I don't know why he shared it, but when you provide even a shred of context, now you're stopping the runaway train of, hey, this is going to do this. And again, to me, it's so simple. You work for it. You have a job. You and I both. I mean, I work in the corporate world. Like, I don't. My page is private. Like we talked about a couple of years back. I went from like 4,000 or 5,000 followers to less than 1,000 now. Yeah. Like I got rid of everyone. And my page is private. It's not because I'm some celebrity or like I post anything that's super important. But the things that I post are important to me, and I don't want everyone to see. Not to mention, I like to share my opinion sometimes that my employer might not get upset about, but may not look favorable to them. So, like, you see, when I post things, I always cover up. If I'm wearing my work clothing, I always cover it up, and it's not for any other reason, because I rarely share anything that would get me in trouble like that. I don't think I ever do. No. But to me, it's you're doing things. When you put yourself out there, you're a representation of that company, and now they have to address it. And now that's. You're being a pain in the ass.
Now, right. I will say that, and that was a point that I was going to make later, is that KYRIE has already set this table, for himself. You know what I mean? Like we're going on 2-3 years of New Jersey Nets and KYRIE stuff. You know what I mean?
And even before that, Boston, and before that, Cleveland.
And there are, and KYRIE's a superstar. Let's not get that wrong. But here's the thing: he's not a superstar that has provided, and honestly, a championship. Like a championship may not have Joe Tsai taking the stance on his back if he has to deal with a Kyrie Irving. Not to say that that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, but like you said, he's been a real big pain. And, you in the Bay Area, I'm from the Bay Area, and like the Draymond situation. Draymond, I love Draymond Green. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like Draymond Green. There's a lot of people in the Warriors organization that probably don't like Draymond Green. Him punching Jordan Poole, sort of like to the point you made about Kyrie, it's like, dang, you've already had these other issues going on. This gives them a legitimate right to treat you a certain way from that point on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not to get off too far off topic, that absolutely made the Warriors, in all honesty, that was the best case scenario for Warriors. That happening for the Warriors organization, because it was going to be very difficult to not pay Draymond Green a max contract, which they weren't going to do. It was going to be very difficult to do that and not upset him to the point where he wanted to leave. Him doing that did the job for him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And they're also not that good right now. So even more.
Well.
Even more. But,
he's been playing lights out, though. He's been playing amazing.
He's been doing his job, but I just don't understand why they play zero defense. Okay. Zero.
Greg, of course. Now, so just to be clear, I'm a Warriors fan.
I root for the Warriors.
I love basketball. I'd like to think I'm pretty objective most of the time. I'm probably not all the time. Draymond is the way that he's played the start of the season is the best he's played in 3 years.
I don't know about 3 years. Like he's playing really good and he's doing his job, but not 3 years.
You got to remember, Greg, I watched these games from tip to the end, and I've been a fan for a very long time. He looks like he's being aggressive. He's attacking. He's facilitating. He's playing defense. He's one of the only people playing defense right now. But because he's playing for his next contract, so.
Right? And
but anyway, sorry.
No, but we could talk about that another time. But like I said, like I personally feel like it's like they're trying to make him like, yes,
they are trying to humiliate him, Kyrie. So to get to your last point, that's what I was trying to, like, you're the last point of what you were talking about initially is you said they feel like they're making all this checklist. You know who gets to do that? The person that signs your check. Like, if you want to work for me, this is what you're going to do. If you want to come back to work, if not, that's fine, because you put yourself in this position. I didn't. And like I said, all Kyrie, whether I agree with it or not, I think it's silly that he has to do, like, they're making him do all these things. But I also think that, like, they're proving a point, like, because they can't do much else outside of that. And who knows if they really, really want him to even come back at this point.
Now, here's the thing. And I definitely agree with that. Now, here's the thing, too, about the checklist. I don't necessarily have a problem with the checklist, because for all I know, for all other NBA players and stuff, they've had checklists. They just weren't put in the public.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
Kyler.
That's where the humiliation comes in with me, because it's like, cool, if you have these certain things that you want him to do, that stuff could come in-house. That can stay in-house. Like, hey, we're going to need you to do this, need you to do this. Once you put it in the public, then it makes it's like they're trying to make him a hoe. Especially to me, the last one, like, come to the owner and have a conversation, and the owner must, like, basically believe you. And I'm like, that sounds like some Game of Thrones, like, bended knee type stuff. Like,
well, here's the thing is I'm never one, so it doesn't matter if it's Kyrie or anyone else. If someone has to force you to apologize, to me, an apology, what I learned at a very young age, you need to, like, that needs to come from you. People can force you to say I'm sorry, but as an adult, I don't even apologize. I don't care if you said the most offensive thing. I don't care if you slapped my mom. Don't apologize to me if that's not coming from you. If someone's forcing you to do it, you're having to do it because you want to get your job back or something. So Kyrie had the opportunity to apologize. He didn't apologize until he got suspended, and now he's having a hard time getting back on the team, and he's having to actually pay this money, and he pissed off the commissioner he's not apologizing because he's really sorry. He's apologizing because he has to. So for me,
so then where's the value in it then?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I agree with you. So that's what I'm saying. Is whether he apologizes now or not, it's just humiliation. I agree with you 100%.
Okay, yeah, because that's my thing. It's like, if he does it, like, I mean, you can't possibly think like, thanks, Kyrie. Like, I really believe that. Like,
right.
You got to do what you got to do, you know, type thing, you know. And, you know, like I said, like, I'm all for, because like I said, like, I keep telling people, man, freedom of speech and freedom of that, man, that's all good and gravy. Like, I get it. But don't think you can't get fired Monday, or don't think, like, I get it. Like, I am 100% with you with that. I work for the government sector. Like, I know, like, there have been things that, like, I was a little like, you know, there's some people that work there like, oh my God, I saw you on YouTube. Like, you just came on my feed. And I'm like, gulp. Like, hey, like, you didn't watch it, did you? Like, and now I don't say wild stuff on here, but, like, I don't know what's wild to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
well, that's why none of my coworkers follow. Like, I don't follow, and I'm I would say I'm probably friendly or friends with a few people, but no, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, you have social media? I sure do. I'm going to follow you. No, you're not.
And that's
because just like you said, I don't know. To me, we grew up differently. And I grew up way differently than most of the people I work with. And it's like, what's offensive to you may be nothing to me.
Right.
And so, I don't want to do that.
You know, so I don't know, man. Like, you know, and like with the Nike situation, like, you know, I kind of feel like with a person like Kyrie and Kanye at the exact same time, like, I feel like with Kanye, a lot of this could have been avoided if he just actually started his own stuff. Like, you wouldn't be in this situation if you would stop talking about what you want to do and what people are doing to you and actually do it. With Kyrie, I will tell you this with Kyrie. And Kyrie basketball sneakers are one of their top sneakers. You know what I mean? I mean, like I talk this about all the time. You know, I go watch the kids play basketball and stuff like that in the gyms on the weekend and stuff. Kyrie sneakers are all over the building. Like, everybody's working.
Well, they're pretty inexpensive too. Yeah. He's got 5,000 models and hybrids and everything.
Always affordable, different versions. Like, the signature model was obviously the higher price one, and that's around like $130 to $140, you know. And then the like fly traps and stuff like that are like $120, $110. You know, they're not that high. So, but honestly, I think if I was Kyrie, I think I would just go to Nike and say, let's just kind of end this. I do, like, and not to say that like Nike did anything bad or that he did anything bad. I just kind of feel like for Kyrie's, and I'm talking about Kyrie's peace of mind. Like, I watched the documentary with Stephon Marbury when he went to China. It's called like Kid from Coney Island or something like that. It's on Netflix. Really good documentary. A lot of us really didn't know exactly why Stephon Marbury went to China when he did. And it kind of, you know, went through all his years, and it was like, dang, he was kind of going through a lot of stuff. But man, like, when he went to China, he was like at peace. I just feel like, and this is more of a Kyrie thing, just like you said, he feels like he's so much more enlightened and on a higher plane than a lot of everybody else, either, you know, mentally or whatever the case may be. I just kind of think he just needs to just do his own thing. Like, I don't know if basketball's for him anymore, and I don't want to speak for him. Like, I know he probably loves the game and stuff like that, but I think this type of basketball with this media pressure, this responsibility, the Nets supposed to have championships with KD, New York. I mean, there is no worse place to offend a Jewish community than being in New York. Literally, there is none. Like, I can't even imagine. I mean, good God, you know, I just think it's too much for him. And I think just for himself personally, I think it's just time for him to just go ahead and just wrap it up, man. Like, I don't think he'd be comfortable doing the checklist, knowing that everybody has to. Now, I did read today that he's already met with the NBA and stuff like that, and it was a good conversation and stuff like that. Fine. You know what I mean? Like, if he felt like he should do that and he wanted to do that, man, more power to him. But, like, I don't want to see somebody like Kyrie self-destruct, and I don't want such a great basketball legacy to be tarnished by a lot of things like this. With Kanye West, his legacy is legit, to me, personally, tarnished. Like, you know what I mean? Kyrie not being in the top 75 NBA players, that sucked. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like he's going to get treated that way for the long haul.
Yeah, I agree with you about Kanye. I think Kyrie's his stuff, the Boston things to me, what happened at Boston kind of tarnishes, because in my opinion, I think Kyrie is probably one of the top 5 most talented players ever to touch a basketball, talent-wise, like skills and like he is
superb,
unguardable. Like if he was you know, KD's height or 6'7" or even LeBron's height, he would be unstoppable.
Oh, not without a question.
It would be unfair. I mean, it's unfair now. But anyways, I think all those things tarnished because you haven't. Your teammates don't even like you. Like, right. So the thing about Jordan is obviously, you know, a lot of his teammates had an issue with the way he led, but he brought them championships. And yes, there was controversies, but it was very rarely in-house, right? Well, whereas everywhere Kyrie goes, nobody likes him. So it doesn't mean you have to be liked everywhere, but right. Like you're not providing championships. None of your teammates like you, and you're creating drama for your organization. Of course, your play, and you don't have 6 championships. You have 1, and it's tied to LeBron. Yes, you made the shot. Yeah, you know, it is what right. It is. But no one's going to care about that. Right. That's going to be forgotten in 5 or 10 years.
Now, let me ask you something, Josh. So let's say, we all have our own personal beliefs and stuff like that. We all have things that we agree with and disagree with, and there are things that, like, probably the companies we work for agree with and that we don't agree with. Now, let's say your company as a whole, they start this campaign publicly where they're like all for something that you strongly are against. Would you have a problem working for that company?
It depends. It depends on what it is. And I know I'm not trying to be super specific because I know we're just trying to have a conversation.
Right.
But it really truly does depend. If it was something that I thought was morally wrong, it would be difficult. I'd have to assess that and see if this was no longer the place for me. If it was something that politically I didn't agree with, or even socially I didn't agree with, it probably not. Because at the end of the day, my dad has told me since I was a child, people confuse this workforce. You signed a contract to do a job, and as long as they pay you to do that job and that check doesn't bounce, they're holding up their end, you hold up your end. It doesn't matter about friends or beliefs or alignments. You pay me to do a job. When I do that job, you have signed me a check to me that is paying what you told me you were going to pay me. That's it. That's the end of our relationship. So for me, it would never be like an uproar. Like if the company went in a direction or they started going in a direction and the things that I felt like didn't morally align with me, or I was offended by it, like I was personally offended by the direction we were going, I would just find another company to work for. I wouldn't even I wouldn't even say anything to anybody. I would just be like, okay, it's time for me to go. Because the way I look at it is I'm of the mindset that employers, this is 2022. You should be allowed to say or do or go for it, advocate for whatever you want. And if people choose to do business with you and work for you, great. If they choose not to, then that's fine. Right. But like trying to make everyone happy as an employer, like the whole purpose of starting your own business is so you could be the boss and you can, when people complain about nepotism, no crap. I'm definitely going to have nepotism. If I start a company, I'm going to give my family the number one opportunity.
Facts.
Like, I don't get some of the complaints. Like if they do a crappy job, I'm also going to get rid of them because the nepotism enabled you to get this position. It's not going to help you keep it.
Right.
But yeah. So to answer your question, it would really depend if what it was, and if it was something that I feel like was offensive to me, then I would just find another place to work.
Okay. I kind of wanted that. I mean, I've struggled with that with my job, with what I do, for like probably the last like few years, more socially. And, it's really hard. Like, nobody knows. I mean, it may have come out a few times on this podcast, what I've done, what I do. But like, it's like sort of those things. It's like, man, for just me personally, obviously everybody's voting today and, vote, all this stuff or whatever. But like, honestly, a lot of this stuff, and we're going to talk about the Alma Mater thing, like a lot of this stuff for me personally, like I just have this like, and it's where I respect you as a father too, is that like, man, I'm just so enthralled in like how I was raised and my morals and my ethics and stuff that I need to instill in my kids. And me and my wife, we built, this sort of, joint unity and how we're going to raise our kids and the type of people we want them to be and, stuff like that, that like a lot of the outside stuff just does not bother me. Like,
yeah, because it doesn't matter, Greg. At the end of the day, I don't care who you work for, whether they say it to your face or they put it on their social media or not, they probably don't agree with a lot of the things that you think. So it's a pick your, in my opinion, it's a pick your poison. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If you treat me right, I will continue to work for you. If you don't, I'll go somewhere else.
Right. And I think like for me too, it's like, and speaking, it's a little unfair for me to kind of say what I'm saying, only because like I've been with where I am for the long time. Like and not to toot my own horn or nothing like that, but like I'm the boss. Like I tell everybody, no, shut it down. We are not allowed to talk about that here. Like I can do that. So I do have, sort of like that sort of type of power and stuff like that. Now that would be for up to them. If they come into my office and they feel like they need to talk about this and it's not fair and I'm infringing on their right, then they got to go find somewhere else to work. You know what I mean? Because like I don't allow politics on my talk anywhere. Like, and this isn't because I feel one way or not. Hey, you know what? We used to talk about this a lot, and it almost legit started fist fights. It's like, you know what? It's just not good for us. It poisons us all, and we're all work together well. I don't want something he said and bothering, how we interact with each other later. So,
And you get pushback from that from your employees? Not to get too much. Like, people get upset about that?
They have in the past. It's gotten better now. Like, actually, I'll say it's way, way better now. And I mean, like, in the past to where it was like, it's my right to talk like that. And that's fine. And I work government. So government, you just can't.
Not in this building. Yeah, not in this building. You're right. You have the right to speak about however you want.
So,
but not here.
That's a little hard to say as well with government because
gotcha.
I can't, and I've tried, I can't just fire people. Like, to legit in the government, for the sector that I work in, you would have to physically harm somebody or steal money. That's the only way a termination will get done instantly. Like I'm talking instantly. Any other thing, oh man, there's so many, it just won't happen. You'll get sent to another area.
Tons of steps.
Yeah. And that's one thing that why people ought to work there. It's impossible to get fired. Like I'll put it that way. But no, man. And I'm liking this conversation, man. I'll tell you this, man. You a natural at this, man. Like,
I appreciate it. Like I said, I like, to me, like you said, it just seems like a conversation with one of the homies. So I love having discussions. I love talking to people, whether they agree with me or not. Because to me, it's fun. I don't really, I'm not, even though people think I'm a social person because of my social media and what I post, I'm really, if I'm not close to you, I won't say two words to you. I'm just, because I know I'm so opinionated that I don't, like, everyone can't have I don't even want to say a heated, but like a serious conversation and not get upset. I'm like, man, we can completely disagree on something and we don't have to be mad at each other.
Yeah. I've been over that. Like, like a lot of times, like, me and George are so close. Like we know when one another is mad.
Right.
You could feel it, at the very least annoyed,
But you also respect each other enough that when the other person's at that point, even if you really want to keep going, you're like, you know what, it ain't even worth it.
Oh, yeah. There's been times, we try to poke the bear and, there's times, but, we understand, like, what's more important. And, like, first of all, our wives would kill us if, like, me and George really got into it. Like, our wives are legit really good friends. They would My wife would kill me if if I got so mad at George that like we couldn't come back together. She would legit kill me. I'm not even joking. Like, she loves Hannah to death and loves George, and like if it ever got to that far, I think both our wives would kill us. So
Good.
So let's talk.
There's very few relationships that really matter in life, so it's good for them to hold us accountable. At least that fear sometimes, right?
Right, 100%. So let's talk about I'm a Meunier. So, it's a lot of stuff, with, how important your voice is and speaking up and stuff like that. And, I had got sent, man, no joke, probably about 150 times, I'm a Meunier put out their post with regards. Now, I want to make clarification on this too, because when I very first read it, I thought this was the only way you can get them. So they gave you two options. One was to record a video of yourself and post it on social media to discuss things that are something that's important to you, and use the hashtag my voice holds power. And they wanted you to @ I'm a Meunier and @ your local news station and or your local state official, something like that. I spent a good amount of my day laughing at a lot of videos. And let me say this, Josh, like, and I had another conversation with somebody else before this too, because like, I don't want to be a jerk. I don't, because I do feel like I'm a Meunier's heart is in the right place. I personally I can't put sneakers and that type of stuff together. It just doesn't go together with me. Like, because if somebody, I mean, a lot of people did it. For the people that actually do it, how do you make the determination of like, this video is better than this? Like, I don't understand how that works. Like, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, I just don't understand. Like, to me, because I'm like, if everybody doesn't, I don't know how many pairs I'm a Meunier 4s they made. I don't know, but it's just like, how do you say like, you know what, I like that one? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Josh, I probably watched about 200 videos a day. Like, I just got I got so deep into the videos. But what I found more amazing was, and I try not to be so cynical when it comes to government and politics and stuff like that. I have my own views and stuff like that on what I'm gonna do and what I'm not gonna do, because at the end of the day, I would love to think that some major changes on the horizon, but it just hasn't happened like enough for me personally. I'm talking about me. Like, it hasn't happened enough for me to just be on social media, voicing my opinions on certain things anymore. Like, I used to be that person, like, on there, talking about the injustice and what's going on socially and the homeless and things like that. And not to say that like they should have been listening to me and they never did anything. It's just that I'm not the only one. If you watch a lot of these videos, I would probably say 85% of them about racism. The rest are about the homelessness, and the other ones, a sprinkle of mental health, a sprinkle of like stuff in other countries, a sprinkle of like, just being negative, stuff like that. And at the same time, it's like, I see people like, thank you, I'm a Meunier, for allowing me to express myself and make my voice heard. Nobody was stopping you prior. Like, I'm a Meunier didn't pay Twitter a fee to allow you to do this today. Like, you could have been speaking on this stuff all along. Now, at the exact same time, I'm like, come on, man. Like, you get on here and made a 2-minute video about like, what's really the issue is racism. And in my mind, I'm like, duh. Like, you're not saying anything that hasn't been heard. Politicians know what's wrong. Homelessness, 100% agree. It's out of control. You're in the Bay Area. I know it's out of control out there. It's out of control here, okay? The politicians and a lot of people that walk into our city hall and state buildings legit have to walk over homeless bodies to get into their building. They know it's there, and they're not doing anything about it. Now, here's where I had the major issue with this was, I'm a Meunier on all their social media platforms follow nobody, okay? They don't follow any social justice pages. They don't follow any politicians. They don't follow any news. They follow 0 people. Where's their voice in this? Now, I know that they do things and they donate money. I know that. I read about I'm a Meunier. I know their causes. I get it. But to me, you don't follow anybody or do anything to push this stuff. Why are you trying to make me do it? And I still have to pay $250 if you say like what I said is cool. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's a waste of time. Like, people getting on there saying, boy, racism. Thank you very much. Racism, tell me more. Like, no duh.
Right.
Like, come on. Like, it's just it's jumping through hoops to me.
So I agree with everything you said. And that's just for me, I think along the same lines where I've gotten to the point of, and I think you're there too. It's just certain things get you riled up, and same thing with me. The best way I can not associate that, but I guess associate to my life is me and my little sister, drastically different people. She is someone that is all about causes and speaking up and posting stuff, and even before social media, she'd be the person marching and doing all this stuff. To me, I'm with you. I think that does nothing. But the reason I'm allowed to say I think it does nothing is because there are so many people that are doing it. Like when they're like, hey, pick up the phone and call your local, governor's office and keep blowing up their number because of this. I'm in my mind, because I'm kind of like you, like cynical. I'm like, all they're going to do is turn their phone off and send everything to voicemail. You're not bothering them. You're not impacting their day.
Right.
So when you say, the Alma Manier is doing this, I think I'd like to think it's coming from a place of sincerity from them.
I do think it is. I think it's executed poorly.
Right. And I'm with you. Like, I'll never, and it doesn't matter if they offered me $1 million. Like, I'm not going to make some 10-minute, and I got a lot of stuff to say about a lot of things, but I'm not going to get on social media and make a 2-minute post about, because to me, it's just, and there's nothing that someone can say to convince me that it's going to ever mean anything, because you're right. Thank you, Alma Manier, for giving us the opportunity. Like, you're right. They had every opportunity to do it before, but in their mind, Alma Manier is going to give them a platform to maybe get out a little bit more. So I'm with you. I'm not going to do anything on the shoes. Like I said, I think it does probably come from a place of sincerity. It was executed. It seems to be executed poorly. And then again, like you said, when it comes to like the picking of the videos, I got to believe it's just random. They're just going to say, hey, whoever post these things, throw them in a hat and we're going to pull it out, whatever. But I don't think it has to do with, who did a better job or anything like that. But I'm with you. I know you guys have talked about it when, different skate shops, like, would you do this or would you do that? And for me, it's again, I'm very black and white when it comes to certain things. It's as simple as, am I willing to do what they're asking me to do to buy the shoe? And if I am, then I'll do it. If not, then I ain't doing it. Like, I don't care what it is. I'm going to try to buy the shoe, honestly, just to probably trade it for something that I want. Or if someone that I know, it says, hey, Josh, I really want this shoe. Can you try for me? I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. But again, because it's a 4 and it's a boot, and I think it's awesome. I have the 3. I sold the 3 to a homie because he wanted it. And but I'm with you. I agree with everything you said. I have the same. I should say I have the same mindset as you have when it comes to things like this. And
like I said, like I'm not faltering them or anything for it. Like, it's just in my mind. You know what?
It's
like
silly.
It's silly, but see, like you brought up the skate shops and things like that. I don't have a problem with people requesting you to do things if you get the shoe. Not like do things to win the opportunity to pay for the shoe. Sneakers within itself has changed the definition of raffles throughout everything. A raffle has always been, hey, you buy a $10 ticket, you have the opportunity to win a whatever. You know what I mean? Like, now it's, hey, you get a ticket and you have the opportunity to pay $250. Like, it's crazy. Now, if they would have been like, hey, we want everybody to post their videos today, it's voting day, let your voices be heard, blah, 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 and we're going to select 200 people and you get a pair, cool. But it's like, we need you to post this and check your email for invoices. I'm like, what? And
Yeah.
and this is what I always argue with people about when it comes to being super defensive of brands. Okay, I like Nike. I love Adidas. I love brands. I love my brands. I do, but I'm not gonna ride too hard for brands that barely, if never at all, acknowledge your existence. And what I mean by that is like a simple like everybody that I saw making videos, I didn't see Amamanya retweeting those videos or even liking them. Like, you're not even being acknowledged by the people who you were asking to do this. And
Right.
and I saw some people put like maximum effort into this. And I saw some just like sit in the car and go, yo, racism is stupid. We need to get over ourselves, whatever. And I'm like, all right, like I get it. Everybody wants sneakers and whatnot, but you're to me, it adds more value to sneakers. Like, to me, sneakers don't need any more value besides they're cool. The homies say those are fire. You put a dope fit together. That's it. I don't need my sneakers leaking into like political aspects and stuff like that. Like, I don't, because at some point it's gonna be, after you submit, you go to the ballot and put your voting ballot in. You come outside and then you have the opportunity to cop. It's gonna get to something like that at some point for somebody trying really way too hard. And like I said, I know people have good intentions and people want to try to be different and they want to try to act like they're fighting for something. And I don't want to be that cynical person. But at the same time, I'm just like, the person that, like you said, the governor, the person that you're saying blow up their phone, if 100 people already called them, they're aware. They were aware before anybody called them. They know what the problem is. It's just not doing it. I worked in D.C. When I was in D.C., if I went to D.C. right now and I walked into the House of Representatives or if I walked into the Senate side and I said, hey, everybody, look at me. Do you think racism is a problem? I'm confident everybody in the room would go, yes. Now, if I went, everybody in the room, can we fix this? I'm confident that everybody on both sides would go, it's a little bit more difficult than that. They know it's a problem. Yeah. They know, hey, everybody, do you feel that the homelessness is out of control? Yes, Greg, we agree. The homelessness is out of control. Are you guys going to do something about it? Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. We can try. There's the most excuses ever. Right now in Arizona, I work for the government. Right. I'm telling you this. We are trying to push the homeless out of Phoenix so when everybody comes for the Super Bowl, Phoenix looks beautiful.
Yep.
We're pushing riffraff, like, hey, you guys go to these outskirts, hey, get out of here. When the Super Bowl's over, all right, y'all can come back. You know what I mean? They're not trying to help them. They're not trying to do anything. They just say, hey, when they have all the parties cracking off for the Super Bowl and all this stuff, we don't need you around here. We need people comfortable. We need people to look at the city of Phoenix like, this is beautiful. We can't have you riffraff out here. That's what happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's actually doing anything for change. And then when you do ask them, they say, well, and look, there are some homeless people like this. Homeless people, like, hey, they're comfortable being homeless. I get it. There are some. But at the same time, people use excuses like, well, they don't want the help, so whatever. I'm like, all right, okie dokie.
Yeah.
So anyways, like I said, I'm going to try online, and that's all I got for them.
Yep.
I ain't making no video. I ain't doing a kick flip. I ain't doing a back flip. I'm not going to post my voting sticker. I'm not going to do anything. Like, leave me alone. So,
yeah. I agree.
What else we got on the sneakers? Access. I appreciate access on sneakers. And like I said, I did like seeing a lot of people get them. I'm glad you got them. I got them. Andy got them. A bunch of other homies I know got them. Like, a lot of people got them today. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's cool. And I feel like that's just something that's happen more. I don't understand if you lost on 25 pairs already.
I think that's just the same thing I've said before. Nike just has to show or pretend like they care. They don't care.
Thank you, like, Josh. Josh,
they just have to show that they care. Like, so them telling us 20 this or 15 that, or we're going to, man, I know for a fact I've lost on multiple, on not just that account, on other accounts.
Right.
Then I've lost on way more and I didn't get access. So I don't, in my mind, I'm not going to get any of these shoes. If I get them, cool, but I don't get upset about any of this stuff. They don't care. Whether they say the way I say it to my son is because he gets excited, like, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I'm like, Pop, they're going to sell out in 30 seconds no matter what. Why would they spend an extra $3, $4, $5 million to make the same amount of money to try to stop bots? They don't care. They just have to act like they care.
And Josh, been saying this forever. I don't believe any of this stuff. And I honestly wish that I feel like it would ease a lot of heartache on a lot of sneakerheads who harp on stuff like this if Nike just said, hey, man, we're not doing nothing. Like, it's just like the act of like, because it rejuvenates people. Like today, so many people got the Chicago ones that now they're back high. Like they feel good. It's just like the whole issue with when the Mamacitas dropped. People were just going crazy about, I forgot what released before, about backdooring sneakers and stuff like that. Everybody got access to Kobe 6 Mamacitas, and you know what, Nike, thank you so much, man. I'm like, just like that, last week you was ready to go burn down headquarters, but today you get access and you like, thank God. Man, do not believe nothing about this 25, because if Nike really was able to do that, it just shows that like none of this stuff is actually random. Like if I was Nike, I would stick to my guns and say it's all random and that's that. Like why bother? Like don't make anybody feel something one way or the other. And hey man, like I said, I would just like more clearer definitions on like what's a restock, what's a limited, what's a quick strike. Like if a quick strike is like 5,000 pairs, okay, then I won't feel so bad. Like right. I know.
Well, and it's just like when you're when you're talking to someone and you're trying to stop the conversation, you omit certain things, or even sometimes when you want to say more, you're just like, well, if I say more, I'm going to end up having to explain and talk to this person longer than I want to. So I'm just going to shut up. I feel like that's what Nike's doing, and not just Nike, everyone. And right. To me, like I said, I don't understand how adult humans can get to this age and think that they care at all. They care about their bottom dollar. And at the end of the day, if you're in any kind of business, you realize that all that stuff costs money. Everything that people are asking for costs the company money to make the same exact dollar. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that. Like it just, like, I don't care how much you complain at Nike. It doesn't matter. Like nope. They're just gonna. It's like talking to a politician. Like, yep. You can at them all you want, and they'll say, hey, you know, we're doing everything we can to make sure that social injustice and whatever is better. And come on, man. Like,
because as people, I won't get too deep into it, but just as people, we don't have the willpower to actually affect change. Because the way that you affect change is everyone who's disgruntled, guess what? If they give you early access or they give you this or that, or the Travis Scott's coming out next week, don't do it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. But I'm saying as a whole, don't have the power don't have the the self-control to do that.
We don't.
So they don't care. They're just like, they'll be mad for a couple of days. Like you said, we'll throw them early access, and not even specifically. We'll release more of these pandas, and we'll do this, and they'll get over it.
I said that about
because it'll be the next shoe next week that they'll be focused on, and they won't worry about what happened 2 weeks ago.
Like I understood, and you know, we grew up in that era when like reselling first started. I understood and understood the frustration of resellers and stuff for a certain amount of time. Once it got to the point to where it was like, this is now ingrained in the culture, where resellers were becoming rich human beings. Like they were becoming rich and driving Lamborghinis and building stores. I said, you know what? There is no point in getting mad at this anymore. Now, for all the people on the planet who gets mad about reselling, man, guess what? Just don't. You just don't buy it. I guarantee it. I know how bad you want that Travis Scott. I know how bad you want it. But just don't give him the 800. Just say no. Now, you alone ain't going to make change. But if all of us said no, it would change. I know it would. And that's like, and it goes with a lot of things. That goes with gas prices. That goes with a lot of stuff. But like, hey, guess what? We have no choice. So guess what? We got to pay $5.66. We have no choice. They know they have us by the balls, and we can't do anything about it. Like,
Well, it's the funny thing is the same, and I feel the same thing about politics. Like I'm very clear about it. I'm going to vote based on how it affects my house because at the end of the day, that's all and I know this may sound so, that's what I care about, how it affects my house and my family. And people who say differently, they're full of crap, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
I don't even agree with myself all the time. So you're telling me that this person, you're telling me that this person on TV that's never met you agree with every single thing that they say in all of their policies? Man, stop it.
And see,
just stop.
And that's where I go with myself. And I go for specific things when it comes to politics, that I feel could help people that I know need it.
Right. And that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like the things that affect my house, and that's our personal views and stuff like that as well, not just our pockets.
Right. So for me personally, I have a great job in healthcare and stuff like that. I know I'm set. Like I said, I have to go burn the building down to get fired. So I got healthcare forever. But if another person can help another person with healthcare, then I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that I will ride for. I was telling somebody today, we had this conversation because, Arizona is a gun holding state, and I'm for guns. I'm not against guns at all. But I kept telling them that things that keep getting worse and better, because I told them, I said, look, there's 3 things to me. This is Greg talking. I'm not speaking for Josh. I'm not speaking for George. I'm speaking for myself. There are 3 things I feel like will never change in this country, and that's poverty, racism, and people making their own decisions of what they want to do. I can't control that. You know what I mean? I can't control a lot of that stuff, and it depends on how I want to live my life and what I want to do for my family. I raise my family and my kids to be a certain way, and I have to hope and pray that the family next door is raising their kids the exact same way. I can tell my kids, to be the best person they could be and all that, and the people next door could be doing nothing, and their kid comes outside and shoots my kid. I can do that. That can happen. You know what I mean? But I do understand the need to have a gun in the household just in case for emergencies. I'm not out here. California's different. Out here, cats just walk around the grocery store with their burner and they hoop shorts. And it's
yep.
All right, buddy. If you got it under the seat, I get it. But walking around with your basketball shorts with your burner just hanging out just because you can, to me, is just a bit much. That's me.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for another day. I don't want to get too in deep in that. Was there anything else you want to talk about before we do NFL picks and top 10?
No. I mean, like I said, I appreciate you having me on. I'm having a blast. So
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You do a really good job, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I already know a lot of people gonna say dang, that was good. That was a good conversation. I like a lot of the points you making, and I like the preparedness. I know how this show can get sometimes. I tell people a lot of time, hey man, take a break from this show. I know this show can be a bit much sometimes, and sometimes it's all over the place, and sometimes it's just chock full of nonsense, but that's just homies talking, you know what I mean?
Right.
We prepare a general outline and we just kind of let it roll. But I do appreciate your preparedness and your thoroughness on each discussion. I do like that.
No problem, bro. But no, I'm good. I mean, I really enjoyed, like I said, the whole Kanye and KYRIE thing. I was glad that we got to touch on that a little bit.
I like that. So let's do these NFL picks.
Okay, so you want me to just read out the games?
Yeah. Go ahead and just go read off the games like usual. So I know you struggling this year with your Buccaneers. So
man, what? We gonna be all right. We're in a really bad division.
Now,
so starting
on,
Thursday
Josh.
in that
hold
horrible
on,
division.
Josh. Now, a lot of arguments and discussions that involved you started with a lot of Buccaneer talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just saying you gonna have to eat that.
No, I'm not. No. So okay, so let's get. I am so happy you said that. I am so happy. So let's start with, because we're gonna get right to it. So let's start with the Thursday night game, right? Thursday night game is the Falcons and the Panthers, right? So. Do you want to tell me, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'm picking the Panthers in that game. Because it honestly, it just, in that division, it doesn't matter. Anybody can take that division. The Buccaneers should take the division. Okay. It's just 1 week you'll see the Panthers slapping the Falcons around, then somehow the Falcons come back. Then you'll see one week the Saints slapping somebody around, then the Saints get slapped up on Sunday. Then you see the Buccaneers finally get a win, and then they get slapped up a couple times in a row. Then they come back and beat the Rams, and then you're like, what's the everybody's record in that division is almost the same. The Saints lost on last night on Monday, and they're one game out of first place or something, tied for first place. So it's that division is a mess. Tom Brady should win that division.
Okay. So I hope you're right. I hope the Panthers win. That will help me. But I think the Falcons are going to win. I think the Falcons actually aren't a bad football team.
They're not.
They actually play pretty well, and they play consistent. They're probably the most consistent team in our division. So I hope you're right, but I'm picking the Falcons. First game of the week on Sunday is in Germany, and it's the Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So again, I know it had to be this week.
That's a hard
because
game.
If last week I would have had a different conversation with you because I didn't pick us to win last week. We're going to win this game. I got us winning this game. I don't actually think it's going to be close either.
Really?
Yeah, I know George is into betting. I'm not into betting like that. Oh, so the line is Tampa Bay -2.5.
I know nothing about betting.
So yeah, I don't know anything about betting. I expect us to win by 10 to 13 points. So the Seahawks aren't as good as their record. They've, the games, I don't believe they're as good as their record is. That division is trash. It's just as bad as ours, I think. But here's the thing. So I'm glad that you said this, and I'm glad we get to talk about this very early. We're not a good football team right now. Okay. And we haven't been a good football team pretty much all year. We're decimated on the offensive line, which a lot of teams are, but it's just really bad for us. And then most people forget we either had people coming off of injury or didn't have them at the beginning of the season. So the games that we won early on were just kind of not luck, but I mean, we just kind of toughened it through. We're going to win. There's no doubt in my mind. I've said this from the beginning of the season. We're going to win the division by probably 2 games. But that's just because we're in a bad division. And depending on who we play in the first round of playoffs, if we don't, the season's halfway through, Greg. We're literally halfway through. There's plenty of time to get it back on track.
100%.
Our defense started playing very uncharacteristically, really, really bad. So I think there's just a transition going on, and we're not a good football team. I'm not trying to paint that, but we're in a bad division, and if we can get in and we can get to the playoffs healthy, I think I don't think this team, as of right now, has a chance to compete for a Super Bowl. But we'll be in the playoffs, and depending on who we play in that first round, it could get good.
Like, I look at the Buccaneers, and I don't see a dramatic change in that team from the team last year or even the Super Bowl team. Like, yes, you're missing.
You understand that we have one starting offensive lineman from either one of those teams.
Now, the lineman.
That's huge. We had all pros we had 3 all pros on that line.
Yes. Now, the line is an issue. And the O-line is very underrated when it comes to football. To me, it may be the most important thing in football because,
yeah, I agree.
Some average quarterbacks, all they need is a little bit of time and some decent wide receivers. Now, I will tell you this. Your wide receivers are uncharacteristic, whatever the word is, uncharacteristically dropping passes.
Mike's injured. I don't care what they say.
He can't find any separation.
Yeah, he's not finding separation. He's dropping balls. He's like Mike's injured. There's no reason.
All right, hey, maybe, but picking the Buccaneers unequivocally over the Seahawks.
And I'll tell you, this is not a joke. I picked us to lose last week, so it's not that I'm not being completely. I feel like I'm being objective. I just don't think the Seahawks are as good as they think they are. And this past week, we realized that this is an opportunity. We have to win games. We'll get to the other teams in the division, but we have to win games. There's no more room for error.
I picked the Bucs to lose last week, but only because not that I didn't think they couldn't win, is because I just thought the Rams are gonna have to stop losing at some point.
Yeah,
I mean, they have Cooper Kupp still. I just don't. I don't
Doesn't
understand
look like
why.
it.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're so bad. Like they're awful. Like,
Their offensive line is bad too, and Matthew Stafford is definitely hurt as well.
his shoulder's cooked. Like
Yeah, it's cooked.
he's hurt. So
He has no protection. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Okay.
It's a long journey.
It makes sense.
But I'm gonna go Seahawks. Gino's been balling.
He has been balling. He's actually one of my backup. He's got the starting position a couple times in my fantasy.
And but if the Bucks win, I wouldn't be shocked. Like it wouldn't be shocking. Like it's Tom Brady. It's the Bucks. You know?
We're very close football team to them, I think.
Yeah.
So then we got the Vikings and the Bills.
Vikings
in Buffalo.
And I would have picked Buffalo, but Allen might need Tommy John surgery or something on his arm. Like he got hurt bad. There is no way Buffalo beats Vikings without Josh Allen. Period.
I agree. So did they say he's out? Did they say he's not playing for sure?
It has questionable on it, but the way the reports are reading, they're talking about nerve damage in the elbow. It looked bad. It sounds bad. Like
it looked bad.
Yeah, and I think they're leaving it as questionable as long as they can to like try to just mess with the Vikings. But it's Vikings. I'm going with Josh. And if they're smart, set Josh Allen out. It's okay. Like
that's going to change my mind. I didn't realize it was. I thought he was just tweaked and So I'll go with you. I'll change my actual pick. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I agree.
Yeah, when I read nerve damage and all that, I was like, oh yeah, he's cooked. So.
Yeah, that's not good. So then we got the Bears and the Lions, which is going to be a hard one to watch.
I'm going to go Bears. For whatever reason, the Bears are scoring points now. And Justin Fields seems to sort of figure out how he needs to play for them to, like, play better. They may not win, but they've been playing better. And they kind of gave the Dolphins a little bit of a hard time last week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Bears for all the reasons you said. I think they're figuring out how to use Justin, and he's really talented, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not big on Ohio State quarterbacks. There's never been an Ohio State quarterback that has turned out to be anything. Zero. But I'm glad that he's, like, showing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't Gino go to Ohio State, too?
No, he went to West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia. That's right. Okay. Yep. So then we got the Titans and the Broncos. I've got the Titans by 37 touchdowns.
I think I'm going with the Titans, too. The Titans should have beat the Chiefs, too. Like, the Titans, gosh, like, they're goofy.
They are. They're so goofy.
But
they're a really good football team.
Sometimes I feel like they only put their all against the Chiefs. But I got the Titans.
Broncos are just so bad.
Yeah, Chiefs are going to win. I mean, the Titans are going to win easily.
Okay. So then we got the Chiefs and the Jaguars. I think this game is going to be closer than most people think.
Wait. Where's it at?
It's in KC.
Oh, no way.
The Jags are a really bad, really good team. And you
I
don't
agree
know
with that.
what team is going to show up.
They suck, but they don't suck.
Yeah. So I think the Chiefs win. Don't get me wrong. I still think the Chiefs win, but I think it'll be closer than the line is 9.5. I think that's a lot.
Well, I feel like anytime the Chiefs have a hard time the game before, the next game they beat the brakes off somebody. I forgot who they lost to or had a hard time with before they played Buccaneers, and then they went out there and scored like 48 or something. Like,
right.
You know,
they also couldn't stop us in the second half. So their defense is. That's the thing about it is, I mean, Patrick had to throw the ball 68 times. I think they said.
Yeah.
Like that, and Travis Etienne is the real deal.
The last few weeks, yes, because I wasn't sold on him just yet. But man, he sounds like that.
Well, just remember he was splitting carries with Robinson too.
Right, and Robinson was good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I like him. He's on one of my teams too.
Yeah, he's a good player. So, but I'm gonna go Chiefs, and I'm gonna go Chiefs by 30. Like,
whoa, okay.
The Jags, you just never.
I said, I just think I wouldn't be surprised if it's 30, but then I also wouldn't be surprised if Patrick has to lead him down the field.
Yo, having your quarterback throw the ball almost 70 times should be. Like, if I was the owner of the team, I'd have a talk with the head coach. I honestly would. I would say, I get it, but 70 times is insane. Like,
yeah.
That's a lot to put on him. That's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. But hey, you got to try to win the games. You got to try to win. So,
God.
All right. So then we got the Browns and the Dolphins.
Oh, Dolphins.
Yeah, the line on that is small. It's 3.5. I'm shocked by that. I think the Dolphins are head and shoulders better than the Browns, and I don't think the Browns are a bad team. I just think the Dolphins are way better than them.
I don't either. And what week? What week can Watson come back?
13. I think he's spent is it 12 games or 11 games?
Oh, okay. I was trying to make sure it wasn't this week.
No, I don't think he can come back this week. But
okay.
Yeah, I got the Dolphins too. So Texans,
Giants.
Yeah, me too. I got the Giants. Yeah. I like the Giants.
I do too.
I think they feel like a college team, like they believe in each other.
Yeah, and I like that atmosphere. Like, obviously they're in my division. I'm a Cowboys fan, but it's just fun. Like, I don't mind, like, even teams that, like, I'm supposed to hate. I don't mind seeing teams, like, figure it out. Like, I don't mind it. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Like, all right, Hey.
And I'll tell you this, Greg. I've said this. My girl's a Cowboy fan, but I've said this to my homeboy today too. Multiple Cowboy fans. That the Giants team is a team you have to worry about, and let me explain why I think that's the case. It's because in the playoffs you got to find a way to win tight games. All these games that they're winning are tight games.
All of them.
And the Cowboys have been not blowing people out, but they haven't been really tight games. And the tight games, unfortunately, you guys have lost. So
any game that the Cowboys have to really think, they're going to lose. Not a question.
And the Giants have all 6 of their wins are tight games.
All of them.
Like I think that's going to be scary because it's just like basketball. Like you got to figure out how to win, right? Yeah. And they've figured out how to win. They know they know who they are.
The Cowboys, if they're not up by about 14 with 3 minutes left, and even that's questionable. Like look, I love my team to death, and I'm going to the Super Bowl every single year. But look, the one thing that the Giants have done in those last close games is that they don't turn the ball over, and they execute. That's it. Like Dak hasn't shown that yet. He gets really panicked. The clock management. The coaches look like they're playing Madden. They're just calling random stuff. It's just kind of all over the place, They don't have any discipline at all. We get penalties for everything,
Yep.
So,
I agree. So, Saints, Steelers. To me, it's the Saints should win this game easily. I hope they don't, but they should. They should win this game easily.
I feel like the Saints should, but it feels like one of those Pittsburgh weird ones.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick
it's
Saints.
in Pittsburgh too.
Oh, it's in Pittsburgh. Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
You know what? I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. I don't believe it, but I'm just gonna pick them. The rookie's gonna have to win a game at some point.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Well, he did win a game against us.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. We suck. So the probably the worst game of the week. Colts Raiders.
Lord have mercy. I just honestly, both teams are the most disappointing teams this season to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I never thought Matt Ryan was cooked. I thought he'd just been with the Falcons too long.
No,
he's cooked. You could pretty much say Carr won't be a Raider next year. I can't see that.
Wow.
I can't see it. Like, I don't actually. You know what? I know where they're bad. It's coaching. Like, I know it's bad at coaching. The problem is that they're not going to get rid of McDaniels this quick. This is his first year. He's still highly regarded as this offensive genius and whatnot. But this is definitely his last stop as a head coach if they don't turn this thing around next year or whatever. The scapegoat is going to be Carr because Carr has always been just a tad bit above average. I love Carr. I always thought he was really good. But how can you have Waller, who's probably a top 5 tight end, Devontae Adams, the top
Well,
three.
he hasn't really played this year, though.
Yeah, he's been hurt. And you got Adams, who's the top 3 receiver in the league. You got Crosby, who's one of the better defensive players in the entire league. You got the things you need. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know where the disconnect happens, but I'm not going to sit here and say the Colts are going to win this.
Right.
I'm going to go Raiders.
Okay.
But who knows? Like,
so I'm gonna go Raiders too, and the reason I'm gonna go Raiders because if they don't win this game, their entire season, like, you have to win this game, and you have to, like, put a stamp on it. Like, you better blow these dudes out. Like, you have to. So have to. I don't know if you remember. I give George a bad time about this, but you remember, like, when we were having a conversation in the thread probably 2-3 years ago, and I was like, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in football. So, obviously Fresno State,
right?
That's my home Fresno area State. Right there. Yeah. So him and Derek, but Devontae is. You can see after last game, they're like, look, we need to figure this out. But I agree with you. I think it's Josh McDaniels, and I don't know X's and O's in football. I watched the game, I enjoyed. I think I know a little bit, but the X's and O's, I don't know. So I lean on some friends that do, and what my friends who do know the game, played, college and whatever, they said that I guess Josh McDaniels his offense is one of the most complicated offenses, like, period, to run, calls, all that stuff. So they said that they didn't expect this to happen this year, but they fully anticipate with this team, the exact same team next year, being really dangerous, because having Derek go through a full year with this, because I don't think Derek's the problem. And that's not because he's from Fresno State too. I just don't think he is. I think the play calling has been horrific.
Yeah.
Now, I watch all the Raider games. The play calling has been so bad that I don't even feel like they're giving him a chance, because Josh Jacobs is a stud. Devontae is a stud. Like you said, Waller's a stud. Hunter Renfrow is a stud.
So it's like, like I said, like, if they're gonna try to find a scapegoat, it would end up being Carr.
Yeah, but Devontae's gone. If they do, and Derek already said he's not playing for another team. So, like, if they do that, I don't know what Devontae's contract is, but he'll be pissed if they get rid of Derek.
We'll see. I got Raiders though.
Yeah, Raiders. Cowboys, Packers. Cowboys. In Lambeau, 44 degrees outside.
Cowboys. The Packers suck. All right.
Well, I do think the Packers suck, but I think the Cowboys are just, as much as it pains me to say it, I think they're one of the top 5 teams in football. But like I was telling my buddy earlier, the problem the Cowboys have is, in order to win a Super Bowl, they're going to have to put up 28 plus points for 4 weeks in a row, and they ain't going to be able to do it.
Nope. But if there's a team to beat the Cowboys, it would be the Packers, because the Packers seem to have the Cowboys number. So
yeah, that's true. So they're also not the same team anymore. So right. I got the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys will win this game pretty easily. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I don't think they'll be in trouble.
Yeah, the Cowboys will do their best to let the Packers stay around as long as possible. Yeah. But the Cowboys will win.
Then we got the Cardinals and the Rams.
I mean, I think the Cardinals are a better team right now, but both are just disappointing. I'm going to go Cardinals, but I really have a hard time thinking the Rams are going to lose again.
The Rams are horrible. Their offensive line is really bad. I think the Cardinals win this game, like, running away. I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I feel they should. I mean, the Cardinals got to win too.
Yeah, they do need to win. I didn't realize they were 3-6. They're not doing well.
Yeah, what are the Rams?
3-5.
Oh, that's it? Oh, I thought they were like 2 and something. Oh,
no, they're bad though.
What are the Niners?
So that's the next game. The Chargers and the Niners. The Niners are 4-4, and the Chargers are 5-3. That's shocking. I got the Niners. I think the Niners win this game. They got them -7.
If they know, wait, what?
Yeah, there's line SF -7.
If they use McCaffrey how they should and he stays healthy, the Niners are going to be unstoppable. Okay. Like, you can't stop McCaffrey, Ayoku, whatever, Debo, and Kittle. Like, you just can't. Like, that's way too many weapons. Only thing that can stop them is injuries. Now, the Chargers, I am not a Chargers fan. I have never been a believer in the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert, But I also understand organizations that like just don't know how. They try their best, but they don't know how to make the right decisions. Like a lot of people really have the Chargers really high this year. Like, oh, this could be it. No, they're just not complete. There's something wrong with them.
I'm shocked the Chargers have lost 3 games this year. Going in, I thought that they would be right. I thought it'd be them, the Bills.
Everyone
I'm
did.
shocked by the Dolphins. I thought it'd be them and the Bills and the AFC and the Chiefs. So I'm shocked. I mean, 5-3 is obviously still a good record, but yeah, I think that the Niners are going to figure this out.
Wait, the Chargers are what?
5-3. They're
3-1
in their division.
Wait. Oh, okay. Well, maybe they're not doing too bad. I thought they were worse than that.
I'm with you. I thought they were like 4-4 too. Like I didn't think they were. Well, I mean, they're 1 game away from being 4-4, so
right.
It ain't like they're that far.
I mean, I feel like every time I see them, they're losing.
Yeah, feels like it.
They must have squeaked something out, and I wasn't paying attention. Like, but I go. And Niners,
then the biggest blowout of the week will be the Eagles and the Commanders in Philly.
Oh yeah, Eagles. If it would have been in DC, I would have maybe gave the Commanders a chance, only because it's a divisional game. Like you just you never know how those go, and I feel like the Eagles are only going to lose to a divisional team. Like
it'll be the Cowboys. They'll lose that second game. You guys have played them once already, right?
Yeah, that's the one that I pick. In that game we played them the first time, we played them okay. Like we were getting whooped on, and we came back, but. You know, we had Cooper Rush, and there were like those moments in that game where I said that's where Dak would be important. But I feel like
they have that injury to their offensive line. I think that's why the comeback happened. And then that's not talking trash. I just think they got way more pass rush after that. So
100%. So
no, I agree. I think you guys will split games this year. That just makes sense.
But and I don't know when we play them. I feel like it's week 14, maybe. Like I don't remember. It's not for a while. It may be the last game of the season. It's we always play the Eagles or the Giants the last game of the season.
So it's the second to last. It's the third to last game, guys. You got the last 3 games is the Eagles are the third week. It's Christmas. You guys play them on Christmas.
Oh, that's right. So
you're losing that game. I take it back now. That's too much pressure. That's too much pressure for the Cowboys. In Dallas,
Cowboys can't win on any major holiday.
No. Sorry.
Thanksgiving, no, that's a L. Christmas, that's a L. Like it's just a guarantee.
And if it's in Dallas, that's even you can guarantee the L there. If it's somewhere else, you might have a chance.
It's way too much pressure. Now that I know it's on Christmas and in Dallas, Cowboys might lose by 40, and that's no joke. Like I'm not even joking. Like I can see Jalen Hurts getting 6 touchdowns. Like it's not even a joke. Like that's funny. Is that's the Monday night game? That's the last one?
Yeah, that was the Monday night game.
All right. You ready to do the top 10?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. We are doing top 10. Now, we said dunk highs, but I know we probably both have all SB highs.
Yep.
To us, we appreciate everybody who's been listening to the podcast. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. You have any honorable mentions, Josh?
Yeah, I got 4. I'll run through them quick. The Uncle Dunkles. I thought originally that was going to be high on my list, but yeah. I shot Magnus.
Magnus. What color is that one?
That's the one that I got it. It's white. It looks all crackled, and then it's red and like baby blue. I love that shoe. It's one of my favorite in my collection.
With the 277 on it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Love that shoe. The flaming, and then I guess I have 3. The flaming blue ox. The Paul Bunyan.
Oh, I like that blue on those.
Yeah, the only problem is that tongue is white mesh, and where I live, it'll get destroyed just stepping out of the house. So, but I really love that shoe. So those are my honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I got. I have cigars. Cigars has always been one of my favorite dunks. I mean, I had that a long time. I got Goofy Boy highs. There's a Goofy Boy low that was like Laker colors, and there's a Goofy Boy high that was like burgundy and forest green. Yep. I have, what's the other one I have on here? Shoot, wrong page. Shoot, and then I have Dang, I can't read my writing. What the heck does that say? You know what? I don't know what that says. Oh, ugly sweater Christmas.
Okay.
Concepts. It's not one
Which
of my
one?
the
Which
white
one?
pair, the white gray
Okay.
ones. It's not my
Yeah, the OG.
favorite. Yeah, it's not like one of my favorite dunks, but like I really appreciate it for like it being a Christmas one. Like it was literal. Like I like the literalness when you're gonna create a holiday sneaker. And I'm not a holiday sneaker person because like I would
Okay.
never wear it in the summertime. Like it's a Christmas sneaker. I wouldn't just rock it in January, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
but when they first dropped pictures of them, I thought like, I don't know about these. These are kind of a bit too much. But then when we saw them in person at a store down here, I was like, dang, them joints is nice. Like, so I put those on there. So I like those, but them the only ones I got.
Okay.
So you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
You can go first.
I'll go first then. Top 10 dunk highs to us. Number 10, I got the Dunk SB Statue of Liberty. I would have had that way higher a long time ago. Because it's like the original. If not the original, where you can rub off the color and it was copper underneath.
Hmm.
It being the color of the Statue of Liberty, like it was spot on with the color, and it was always a lot of people's most popular favorite dunk. Like I loved it. Number 9, I got the Dunk SB High Tauntauns. George, I got the Tauntauns from a place out here. I think it's called Sidewalk Surfer. I think a skate shop. You have to see those in hands. The materials on those are just like Canyon Purple 4s. That nappy, furry, like suede. I mean, them joints are super clean. They're like a grayish, goldish blue. But them joints are fire. Number 8, I got the Dunk SB Sin Helps, the OG Sin Helps. That's a dunk that I had bought when I was in college, and I wore that joint to the ground. I had a homie who worked in the military, and he was in at Luke Air Force Base, and they used to get discounts. And that's when nobody was copping SB dunks, nobody was caring, and he had a grip of them. And I remember I bought like 2 pairs from him, and I wore them joints to the ground. Like I love those. Number 7, I got Dunk SB High, Born in the USA's. That's one of the dunks I still have. I rarely wear it because it's a size 10, so it's kind of big. But the materials on that, it's denim, it's leather, it's everything. Like it's thick too. Like it's a weighted sneaker. Like I love that one. Number 6, I got the Dunk SB High Reese Forb denims. I'm not a super denim sneaker person, but them to me is the greatest denim sneaker of all time. Like there's Reese Forbes lows, there's Incredible Hulks that were a GS dunk, and then there's Reese Forb highs. Beautiful. Them joints are incredible.
Okay.
Number 5, I got Dunk SB Chinese New Year. They're the all red ones. I mean, them joints that came out at the right time of the year when, like, you know, people were still into the like all red sneaker. It had the gold speckle flakes and glitter on the clear sole on the bottom. That joint had like, I mean, butter suede. Like it didn't get any better than that suede. I had 2 pair of those.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I got 1 pair from Hot Rod, and then I got another pair from overseas, like a European skate shop. They just had 1 size left sitting on their site, and I copped it. Number 4, now I had never liked these. Dunk High Supremes with the stars, and I got the orange color. I had never cared about those. And then I saw them in person a ton of times, obviously, during that era. And I was just like, I don't see the allure of these. But I seen them maybe like a year ago, and man, them joints were clean. Like it was something different about them compared to like the newer versions of them. Like the reptile-ish material, whatever, seemed a little thicker. They looked way more high quality. Like, so I got them at number 4, maybe a little bit high, considering that if we did this probably last year, I probably wouldn't have had them on the list. But I love them joints now. Number 3, I got Dunk SB Concepts Wind Picks Fly. Wind Picks Fly is in one of my favorite dunks of all time. I thought about making it number 1 because I probably would have last year. I would have, but I got the pink lows, the ones that dropped last year. That kind of, I don't want to say it changed my mind against Wind Pick Fly, but like
it's better. The low's better.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Like I appreciate.
I know it's unpopular to say, but the low is better.
Yeah, and it's just better for me now. Number 2, I got Skunks. Look, Skunks could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look, Skunks are one of those ones where I feel like if they do finally retro it in a high or a low, it should be one of those ones we all have an opportunity to get, because we have been waiting patiently for Skunks to release. And if they finally do one day say, hey, we're going to release Skunks, and it's almost impossible to get, I'm going to be very disappointed in it. Like, we've waited patiently for Skunks. They came out with that other version of Skunks, that purple one. I ain't mad at it, but it just ain't for me. You know what I mean?
It grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but then it grew on me. It's growing on me.
Yeah, like, I hated it at first, and I'm like, you know what? I ain't mad at it. You know, I ain't going for it, but it is what it is. And number one, I got Dunk SB High Brooklyn Project Slayers. Look, it's brown and black, which are two colors that I typically don't like together. But, man, them joints are incredible in hand. I mean, it's the greatest brown dunk of all time to me. Like, it's number one greatest brown dunk to me. Brooklyn Project Slayers are perfect to me. That's my top 10 list. Josh, what you got?
Okay, so number 10, I got Quags. I just like Quags. I think they...
Quagmires?
Quagmire, sorry.
Okay.
So that's my number 10. Number 9, I have the Supreme Dunk Red High. I like the red because I like red anyways, but then obviously with the Supreme, color, I think that the one is the best to me. Number 8, the Dr. Seuss. I just like, for me, it was in between Dr. Seuss and Bloody Gums. I like red more than I like blue, so I decided to go with the Dr. Seuss. I love those.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
The material on the side was shaggy and weird, and I like it. Number 7, I'm shocked you didn't have these. The Miss Piggies. I love the Miss Piggy.
Which one is that?
It's like black and pink, and
let me see.
I'm a huge Miss Piggy fan. Again, it's the yellow. I just like how. Well, we talked about black shoe needing something else. Well, you put a pastel pink and then a yellow with lace. I don't know. I like that.
I'm not mad at them. I always thought they looked better in a low. To me,
I like the high, and I don't really like SB highs. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't like them as much as I like lows, but I like the high version of this. I don't know how that would have looked in a low.
The one thing I never liked about Miss Piggies was the patent leather swoosh.
Right.
Plastic. Yeah. I didn't care for that. It didn't ruin it or anything like that, but
right.
But like them joints is clean though.
Number 6, I got Cheech and Chong's. Again, I like red. It's just I like the shoe.
Number 5. Fire.
Yeah, and then obviously the tearaway stuff is awesome. Yeah. But number 5, I have When Pigs Fly. And I just feel like it's got to be top 5 just for nostalgia purposes.
It does.
There's probably other shoes on here. I like the Dr. Seuss better, but I feel like you just got to put When Pigs Fly at least top 5.
Them joints are flawless.
Yeah. Number 4, I got Dog Walkers. I love Dog Walkers. Dog Walkers are one of my favorite shoes in my collection. I absolutely love them.
So
they're tacky, they're weird.
That's another one that came out a couple years ago that was like, what? I don't understand these. These are okay. And then I didn't understand why the prices were so high on the resale. But when I saw them in person, them joints is nice.
They are so nice. And I've worn mine a lot, and I'm telling you that black dog hair on the toe box, it doesn't change. It's still in the same good shape. So I love that shoe. I love it. Number 3, I actually have Ugly Christmas Sweater, the OG. To me, same thing. Nostalgia purposes. How often would you wear it? You might wear it once a year, maybe.
Right.
But it just, like you said, when you say Ugly Christmas Sweater, they did it. That was every bit of a Christmas shoe. It had the Jeezy snowman on it, which was funny. But yeah,
I think when it comes to a lot of the holiday sneakers, they tried so hard to not be so literal that it kind of made them hard to appreciate. But Concept said ugly Christmas sweater, and it might have been the last real Christmas sneaker.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. This one, I'm probably going to get killed about this one, but I don't know what it is. I absolutely love number 2, the tricolor, the USA Dunk High, the one that's red, white, and blue.
That one is fire.
It is absolute fire, and to me, that shoe just screams USA. It just screams summer and 4th of July. It has suede on it. The check is like I absolutely the translucent sole. Like I love that shoe.
Now,
the only reason I have it number 2 is because to me you couldn't put anything above the number 1. But go ahead. Sorry.
Now, I agree with you. That shoe is fire, but number 2 is high.
Yeah, I know I was going to get killed about it. When I think of a dunk, like when I think of, and I'm not an overly patriotic person. Obviously, I'm patriotic,
right?
But it's not even. It's just that shoe to me, it's just so perfect. Like when I think about a Dunk High, like being in USA colors, great.
Right.
Like the shoe is just amazing. I just love it, and like I said, I love
it's
suede,
great.
so I love it. And then number 1, the skunk dunk. You said you would be disappointed. Be prepared to be disappointed. They're not going to release a bunch of those. If they do it, they're going to do. It's going to be super limited. It's going to happen.
I just, SBs, have had like a weird run when it comes to sneaker culture, but I mean, I don't know why they're holding on to that one so tight. Like. They're really holding on to that skunk.
Iconic. Like it's so like, and not to get like it looks like a nud. Like it really like it looks like a like
no,
yeah. I don't. The shoe is there's and I don't know because I've seen one in hand. I've never been close enough to like hold one in hand.
Right.
I gotta believe that material that's on it is the same that's on the dog walker because they use that green suede. It looks very similar.
Oh yeah,
but the shoe is just amazing. I mean, they absolutely should make a low. If they're gonna re-release it, make it a low and make the shoe the exact same. Don't change anything about the shoe. Just make it a low.
Yeah, and there are a few other dunks that I viewed as just as iconic and legendary, and they still did it. They did California's. They went from a low to a high. They did De La Souls from a high to a low. Like,
right.
There are some they've done that, So, I don't know, but whatever it is with skunks, yeah, they're holding them close.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so that's your list.
That's my list.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I did leave off. Well, let me hit one more honorable mention. Sorry, the Jason Voorhees, just because I like red and black, and it's obviously I don't care about how hard it is to get. To me, it was cool.
One thing I like about those was like they looked used. Like that's the best part about them. They looked rough. I like that vintagey rough look. Because I feel like when, like, even for like the Lost and Founds or, any of the dunks or whatever, they make that vintage look. I feel like it makes it easier for me to like wear them immediately because, a lot of the sneakers, they come so pristine that you take your time wearing them. But when they already have that rough look, it don't do me. Like when I get Chicago's, I'm wearing them joints immediately. Like,
me too.
I'm just wearing them. I may wear them straight out the box, not even lace them up. I might wear them like it's 85. Like, I don't care. Like,
one of my boys told me, he goes, are you keeping or are you holding? No, he goes, are you wearing or are you holding? I said, both. Like, I'm wearing them immediately, but that's not something I'll sell. I think I'll just hold on to those. I mean, like you said, we've had Chicago's enough, and the fact that like these kind of came the way they are, and the box is cool and all that. There's really at this point, there's no reason to sell them.
I think like at this point, like you have to be at our age, like as sneakers like slowly start to fade, you have to really start making those decisions on those like ones you're gonna keep, and these are one of them. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Regardless of what they may go for, it's like, I'm not gonna sell my Chicago's. I'm not gonna sell my Black Reds. I'm not gonna sell, these certain other ones. Whatever the case may be. But these are ones that like, all right, these are in the closet. These are mine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Anyway, so all right, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. I enjoyed this a lot, man. I think, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You did a really good job for first time coming on here, man. And being over the phone. Like, being over the phone isn't easy, Well,
and like I said, man, I appreciate it. I was really looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys having me. I look forward to more episodes this year.
Oh yeah, nah, you definitely coming on again, man. So, but I appreciate it, man. So I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, bro. Have a good night.
All right, you too, Josh. Later.
Thanks. Later.
All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Like I said, appreciate everybody who likes, share, subscribe to this podcast. That is the Sneak Diss. Pow, 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 pow. I'm joking. Bye.